From Hilmer Lodge Stadium on the campus of Mount San Antonio College, it's Mountie football here on Spreaker.com's own national sports. Alongside Brian Tabajay, Chris Sylvester here with you. And what a treat we're in for tonight as the defending JUCO SoCal champion Fullerton College Hornets visit the Mounties of Mount San Antonio College.
This game will not disappoint. It is a huge game for both colleges. And the head coach of Mount Sac had mentioned that it was pretty much like an Auburn, Alabama feel. We'll see what we get here, Chris.
Coach Jastrab, the head coach for the Mounties, in his 10th season with the team. He has Mount Sac off to a 1-0 start, and winning is what's familiar for him. 93-18 in his tenure here at Mount Sac. He's captured 2 national titles, back-to-back titles in 2009 and 2010. Mount Sac coming into this game, a preseason ranking of number 2 in the nation. So big things expected out of Mount. Start this game at their own 36-yard line.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't know if that was a sure accident on the kicker, but he muffed it no less. That is great field possession for the offense of Mount Sac to start here.
The quarterback for Mount Sac, a man by the name of Justin Allo, a transfer from the University of Hawaii, went to Carson High School, led the Carson Colts to a CIF championship game all the way back in 2010. Was a wide receiver over at the University of Hawaii, converted back into a dual-threat quarterback here, and he did a pretty nice job last week, 20 of 24 passing for 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's a 2-receiver set for the Mounties here, 1 split out to each side, and the handoff will go to the running back, Omaris Tolbert, who has some room across the sideline, gets into Fullerton territory before he's finally dragged down around the horn at 45. Omaris Tolbert, who had 85 yards and 2 TDs last week, picking up right where he left off.
Well, Tolbert is doing what grown men do, which is run hard, and that's called running downhill for the first down. Tolbert set the tone here early for the Mounties.
Omaris Tolbert, a transfer from Orange Coast College. He's a sophomore. It's a passing play here for the Mounties. Allo going deep downfield, has a man wide open, but a bad pass that time from Justin Allo. Derek Mackin had his man beat by about 5 or 6 yards that time, but Justin Allo just couldn't put that pass on the money, or else it would have been 6-0 Mount Sac here.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Mounties there on that play, as the Fullerton College defense looked a little bit of a mix-up there. It might have been a mix-up with the DB and the safety. We'll see what happens if they start to figure it out here.
So Fullerton, lucky that play didn't go for a Mount San Antonio touchdown. 2nd and 10 for the Mounties at the Hornet 45, and this time it's a good pass from Allo, but his receiver can't come up with it. That's number 22, Aaron Vaz, who caught a couple of passes for 27 yards in last week's victory.
And last week's defense for Fullerton College did a great job as far as forcing turnovers, 4 to be exact, and 3 INTs and 1 fumble. So this defense has a lot to prove to themselves against Mount Sac here, Chris.
3rd and 10. Ball still at the Fullerton 45. The Hornets trying to make a big stop here on the opening drive as Allo passes towards the middle. It's caught this time by number 22, Aaron Vaz, and he has a Mount Sac first down and more inside the 30 of Fullerton, and Justin Allo with his first complete pass of the game, and it's a big one over the middle. Ball marked down at the Fullerton 20-yard line.
Yeah, that was a nice pickup there by Mount Sac as they move up 15 yards. Nice complete play there, and the defense was in some sort of a zone coverage for Fullerton. We'll see if they figure that out.
So the Mounties here on the opening drive, less than a minute into this game, have found themselves in the red zone already. It'll be the handoff to Tolbert. Tolbert stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
That's a big boy there for Fullerton College. That was Corey Gabriel on the tackle. Big defensive lineman. 2nd year, 6 foot 280 out of Encino.
Corey Gabriel wearing that big number 99. Had a sack last week against Ventura. Screen pass here out to the near side of the field, and Fullerton is all over it before Vons breaks some tackles and gets back to the original line of scrimmage. It's still going to be a 3rd and 10 for Mount Sac. That's already Aaron Vons' second reception of the game, but he's been targeted 3 times here early on.
Well, Rocky Taloa did a great job as far as disrupting that catch and reception, holding him down as much as he could. He kind of wiggled him loose, but he did a nice job reading that play before he kind of beat him on that outside corner.
3rd down and 10 once again for Mount Sac. They're 1 for 1 tonight on this first drive on 3rd down conversions. 4 receiver set. The lone back is Omaris Tolbert. Allo back to pass. He's going to take a shot inside the 10, and it's intercepted by Fullerton. And the Hornets going to return it to the 16. So that's a big blow for Mount Sac, who had a fantastic first drive developing.
It looked like that was Tim Roberts there for Fullerton College, so he had his eyes all on the quarterback, and it paid off on that throw for Tim Roberts as Fullerton College halting this drive of Mount Sac here, and a big pick and the first big play of the game for Fullerton College.
Tim Roberts, a freshman defensive back from the state of Louisiana, coming up with a big turnover right there. And that's got to be disappointing. Anytime you turn the ball over in the red zone, that's got to take a hit to your momentum.
Well, not only that, it's the opening drive, and they were pushing, and we'll see what happens here.
So Fullerton a 1st and 10 at their own 15. The handoff will go to Oran Maxwell, who had 10 carries for 32 yards last week. And he's out to the Fullerton 17-yard line for a gain of 2. Fullerton, 3-headed monster at running back. Khalil Wilson, Aron Maxwell, who just carried it right there, and Eugene Baker, who had a couple of TDs last week in the Hornets' victory over Ventura. Mount Sac will play Ventura next week on the road. 2nd and 8, and it's a screen pass thrown out of bounds, incomplete.
Kind of looked like the sun was in his face there for the receiver, but you're talking about their 3-headed monster at running back, Chris. Not only are they a potent running offense, they're all first-year players. That is pretty impressive here for the Fullerton staff.
Well, head coach Tim Burns here for Fullerton, he's built himself quite a program. He's been on the Hornets staff for 22 years. This is his 7th year as the head coach. Was the SoCal Coach of the Year in 2013 and 2012. 3rd and 10. Back to passes the quarterback Verdhay, and he almost has his pass intercepted. It's batted down at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. And Mount Sac responding well after the turnover in the red zone. They force Fullerton on a 3-and-out.
Yeah, they played some great defense there by that defensive line of Mount Sac. Big guys up top, number 90, Lolani. Let's see if I can get this right now. Lolani Fa'aluwa. I am butchering your name, and I'm sorry, but everyone's butchered my name as well. He's great hands.
He's a potential Division I guy. As Mount Sac brings the pressure here on the punt. They almost block it, and it's not that great of a punt. Mount Sac going to get the ball once again in Fullerton territory at the Hornet 48-yard line. You talk about the defense for Mount Sac, something that Coach Jastrab certainly feels he improved on in the offseason. And you talk about a guy like Lolani Fa'alua. I think that's
you did that way better than I did.
He has an offer from Iowa State, and his fellow D lineman Loni Fa, a little bit easier to say, he's committed to Iowa State. So the Cyclones of the Big 12 Conference certainly out here scouting in Walnut, California. These Mount San Antonio College Mounties getting a lot of Division I college interest.
And for good reason. These guys have been playing such a great program here for so many years.
1st and 10. It'll be a handoff here to not Tolbert. It'll be a different running back for Mount Sac. That's number 48, Brandon Wilson, who usually just returns kicks and punts, but that time he got his first carry of the season, and he picks up a 1st down and more from Mount Sac to the 38 of Fullerton. So how about that? The depth
at running back is great for Mount Sac, and he just did what Tolbert did also, which was just run hard and run through that defense of Fullerton.
Wilson still in the backfield with Allo, coming off of a drive where Justin threw his first interception of the year. Big hole for Wilson up the middle, gets inside the 35, and he's down towards the 33. So Brandon Wilson, the guy that didn't get a single carry last week in the Mounties' 42-19 victory over College of the Canyons, getting a couple here on this drive, and he looks like a pretty good running back.
Yeah, overall, he's pushing through, and he found a little gap there up the middle on the last play and just steamrolled a couple people, but he looks like a strong runner here for the Mounties.
Wilson in the backfield now, but he's lined up as a fullback. The handoff will go to Tony Gates, the freshman. And Gates will maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. A third down upcoming for Mount San Antonio College. Both of these teams, defensive juggernauts.
Yeah, both of these teams had great opening games last week for Mount Sac. They played the College of the Canyons and just really took it out to them. Got a big lead.
The Canyons, a playoff team from last year.
Yeah,
impressive.
They had a great first quarter and first half against them, so they never let up. And, their defense held up and only let them score, I believe it was under 20 points.
3rd and 6 here. Allo's going to step up and run, spins inside the 30, and he's down right around that first down marker, which is at the Hornet 28. Looks like he's a couple of inches short, and it will be a 4th down situation for Mount Sac, and you got to go for it here.
Well, they have great field possession right here at the 28-yard line for Mount Sac. So this is a no doubt call. You got a couple chain links to get the first down.
Big guys back in the backfield. It's Wilson lined up as the fullback, and Tolbert, who's going to get the carry and going to get the first down to the 27.
Yeah, Tolbert's just trying to establish himself in this game, and he's doing such a great job at doing that so far. And a big first down for the Mounties to continue this push and drive, see if they can get the first points on the board.
And that's good for Mount Sac to see that their power package in the backfield worked out that time. 1st and 10 for the Mounties now at the Fullerton 26. Allo looking to throw, pressured, gets a screen pass off to the near side of the field, but he throws it incomplete. Time he was going for Ryan Simpson, the sophomore wideout, who had 3 receptions for 38 yards a week ago.
That was some great pressure by number 34, Fullerton College, Jarrett Thomas, the linebacker, pressuring the quarterback there as Allo really had no option but to throw it out of bounds.
2nd and 10 here for the Mounties, and an official timeout as the scoreboard had it as a first down, but it's a 2nd down. Got to keep everybody on track here, on page. Decent crowd, to say the least, here tonight at Hilmer Lodge Stadium. It's a scorcher today in Southern California. 2nd and 10. Allo's going to be taken down in the backfield here. Loss of about 5 to the 32, and you can't take losses when you're in field goal range like that. That might take you out of field goal range back at the Fullerton 32-yard line.
Well, Allo really just had no time there as Jay Meters kind of broke through the line. The D lineman, 6'2", 240 out of West Covina, did a great job on getting to the quarterback.
So now a 3rd and 15 for Mount San Antonio. Allo back to pass, steps up, fires over the middle, and that one nearly intercepted. It hung in the air for just about forever, but luckily it falls to the turf as an incompletion. He was going that time for Ryan Simpson again. And now it brings up an interesting situation here on 4th and 15, and it looks like Mount Sac is going to bring on the field goal unit to attempt what looks to be a 48-yard field goal here. The kicker for Mount Sac is Alberto Villarreal. The kick is up, has the distance, and it is no good. Missed it wide left. So Fullerton, for the 2nd straight defensive possession, they hold Mount Sac.
Yeah, they're doing a great job at getting to the quarterback there, Chris, as their D linemen are kind of heading over and pretty much going untouched, kind of going unscathed through that offensive line of Mount Sac. Mount Sac is going to try and have to adjust that as their defense looks a lot faster, and I think kind of surprised Mount Sac.
Yeah, and Brian, I think I'm a little bit surprised by the play calling here for Mount Sac. A lot of passing plays, and it looks like the run game has worked pretty well on 3 carries for the Mounties. 1st and 10 for Fullerton. They'll get the ball at their own 31 to start the drive. A 3-and-out on their first offensive possession. The quarterback is Joey Verhey, a freshman, and he completes his first pass of the game here. It's out to number 5, L.J. Gainey.
That was just
about a gain of 6.
Excuse me, Chris. That was just a nice play by Gainey. He just saw what the defense kind of gave him there. Nice little slant run, and for the first completion for their quarterback.
Quarterback Joey Verhey, last week, not the best of weeks in his first collegiate action. 19 for 40, 240 yards, a touchdown, but an interception as well. 2nd and 6 here for the Hornets. play action, and it's a pass out to the near side of the field, and being stacked up about a yard short of the first down is Khalil Wilson, it looked like that time for Fullerton, and it'll bring up a 3rd and short situation.
And that was a great play by the DB Taekwon Glass, number 2, 5'11", 185 out of Pasadena. Read that screen play and did a nice job reacting to it, stopped him right before that first down marker.
Glass, a freshman that went to Muir High School. Figures to be a key component in this Mountie secondary. Now we get a chance to see Fullerton's power package on a 3rd and 1. It's an I formation for the Hornets. And it'll be a handoff to Wilson, who's stacked up in the backfield, and he's being taken down for about a loss of 1. Mount Sac all over that play. They stacked the box with 7, and it pays off a 4th down for Fullerton, and it looks like the Hornets are going to send out their punting unit. Mount Sac holds for the 2nd straight defensive possession.
Nice play there. The pack was led by Ananu Paleo, number 92.
So many difficult names to pronounce on both these
defensive tackle
teams.
for Mount Sac. He made some great contact and pushed through that defensive line and just jumped all over it.
So Fullerton will have to punt it away. A fair catch called for by Mount Sac and made at the 23-yard line. That is Glass.
So both of the defenses here, Chris, really having a nice start to their games. We'll see if the offense and the quarterbacks start clicking with the receivers. And as you mentioned before that last drive happened for Mount Sac, for Fullerton, we'll see if Mount Sac continues to go back to the running game, because it's been, they're light, if you want to say, so far in this game.
37-yard punt that time by Casey Iman. And Mount Sac will start with their worst field position of the day. This is their 3rd offensive possession. They'll start at their own 23. 2-back set here for the Mounties. Tolbert lined up to the left of Allo, and he'll get the handoff here, and he's dragged down initially and gets back up on his feet and gains a couple of extra yards as he keeps those legs churning to the 25 for a gain of 2. Tolbert, a guy that didn't get too many carries, only 23 last year at OCC, comes here to Mount Sac. He's liking his new home. Quite a game last week with a couple of TDs.
Well, yeah, he had 18 rushes last week for 85 yards and a couple touchdowns.
2nd and 8 here for the Mounties. Low snap. Allo picks it up, throws a screen out to the near side of the field, but dropping as he made the catch was Tredante Hill, and there is a late flag that flies in after the play.
We'll see what they call here.
Looks like Mount Sac's backing up. Holding the dreaded 10-yarder against Mount San Antonio. Mount Sac usually a very disciplined football team. Fullerton, on the other hand, they had some difficulties last week in the penalty department. 11 for over 100 yards.
They'll have to keep that down in this game if they want to stay close and maintain with Mount Sac. I don't see how you can get away with that many penalties and kind of come out on the winning side.
Especially against the Fullerton team that hasn't lost to a Southern California opponent since way back in 2012. 13-1 last year, the only loss being in the California State Championship game against Butte College, Aaron Rodgers' old school. On a 2nd and 17, it's a delayed handoff to Tolbert, and Tolbert not much doing there. Maybe a gain of 1. And now a 3rd and just about forever for the Mounties.
That was Raymond Holiday as he sniffed out the draw play of Mount Sac. He made some great contact and just kept his eyes on the ball as Tolbert was the running back on that last play for the draw. And just sniffed it out and made a nice little cut up the middle to meet him before the first down marker, way before the first down marker, I should say.
3rd and 16 for the Mounties. The ball at their own 17-yard line. 4 receiver set. Allo drops back to pass. Now steps up, goes over the middle, has a man open, and has the first down and more to the 44-yard line. That's Tredante Hill on the reception for the first down.
Nice play there by the quarterback, Justin Allo, as he just read his receiver get through that zone coverage of Fullerton College. Maybe they're an all-facet offensive attack here. You said they established a run game. We'll see if that sparks anything offensively in the air.
An impressive throw that time by Justin Allo over the middle. Now a 1st and 10 for the Mounties at their own 45. Delayed handoff. Wilson breaking tackles, gets up the middle, dives, and has a first down into the Hornets territory down to the 44.
Another strong run there by their running backs by Company here, as Mount Sac has them in and out of the games very quickly, continuing this drive.
The run opening up the pass, and the pass opening up the run that time. 1st and 10 for Mount Sac. Handoff this time will go to Tony Gates, who gets to the outside and gets inside the 40, taken down at the 39, and a late flag flies in on the play, and that very well might be a personal foul against the Fullerton Hornets. We'll get the call from our official down on the field. No, it's holding on Mount Sac again. Second time on this drive. I thought maybe it'd be a horse collar on what looked like an interesting tackle made by Fullerton on the running back Tony Gates, but instead it's a holding penalty that's going to back the Mounties up 10 more yards.
It was a little lower for, you mentioned that it was almost a horse collar. It kind of looked like it from our vantage point, but it was a little bit lower, almost in the middle of the back on that last tackle.
I got to admit, I'm impressed that the referees have mics here in JUCO ball.
Oh, yeah. This is, come on now. This is Mount Sac Fullerton now.
Yeah. So now the Mounties backed up into their own territory, albeit at their own 49. The 1st and 19 for Mount Sac. 3-receiver set. Allo drops back to pass. A little dump off to his tight end, Stephen Short. But he dropped it. Big hit that time by the Fullerton Hornets, and now it's a 2nd and 19.
Big hit by Rocky Taloa, the linebacker. 6'2", 220 out of Yorba Linda, and it wouldn't have mattered really if the tight end caught that ball.
Would have been maybe a yard.
It looked like he might even probably just got back to the line of scrimmage there.
Stephen Short, 6'3", 250 at tight end for the Mounties, picking up some Division I interest right now from the University of Illinois. Allo pressured here. It's a screen pass to Gates. Gates gets inside the Fullerton 45, and he's dragged down at the 44, but there's another flag in the area of holding back around the Mountie 49.
The flags are really holding the momentum here of any possible drive.
Yep, another hold against Mount Sac.
And then they're going to have to figure that out quickly if they want to stay alive in this game against a great team in Fullerton College.
So how about this? A 2nd and 29.
That's called a mile typically, right?
Something like that. A couple miles. So the penalties piled up on Fullerton last week, and this week so far, they've all gone against Mount Sac. Will actually be a first. No, it'll be a 2nd down. There's more scoreboard malfunctions here. So it is a 2nd and 28 for Mount Sac. Now they change it. And the whistle blows. We're ready to resume play. 4-receiver set for the Mounties. The only situations in which Mount Sac will go under center with their quarterback Justin Allo is in power package situations, 4th and shorts, 3rd and shorts. Allo drops back to pass here, has a lot of time to throw, has his man across the 50 into Fullerton territory. That's Antoine Anderson, a sophomore out of Narbonne High School. He gets himself to the Hornet 47, and we do have an injured Fullerton Hornet who made that tackle on the play, and he is down on the near side of the field, which is Mount Sac's sideline. Try to get a number on that one.
I didn't see.
Looks 23 for.
I didn't see if anyone kind of got his knee or his ankle or anything. He's on one knee right now, which is a good sign.
Just a hard pop.
Yeah.
But yeah, good sign that he's on that knee. Just about set to get up here. That is Chris Blackwell, a defensive back, sophomore out of Orlando, Florida. Isn't it crazy how JUCO ball in California, and it's not like this everywhere, maybe Texas, maybe Mississippi, as Blackwell is going to jog off the field on his own power here.
That's a good sign for Fullerton College here.
Isn't it crazy how you got guys coming from all over the United States to play JUCO football in the state of California?
Well, because these two programs are recognized for producing great players and great tradition. Just like the teams in the NFL and the higher ranks, people want to go to Alabama. People want to play in Auburn. People want to play for the Packers. That's just what they want to do, no matter where they're from. Same scenario here. It's great to see in Southern California.
Both of these teams in the top 10 nationally as far as the JUCO rankings go. 3rd and 14 here for Mount Sac. Ball on the Fullerton 47. Allo throwing, has his man open, and right near that first down marker is Tony Gates, the running back, the freshman. And I believe they'll give him the ball spot.
That was really close.
So for the second time,
did get it.
The second time on this offensive possession. No, now they're going to bring the chains back.
I was going to say that was very, very close.
I think you got to get a measurement on this one. No, now they'll mark it a first down. The chain gang having all sorts of trouble here early on tonight.
Well, they're confused on, they're still not moving down there.
Still not moving down the field. It is a first down for Mount San Antonio. Chris Gilchrist, the 6'6 wideout, caught that last pass from Justin Allo.
That is a nice, healthy, wide-range target there for Allo.
Charter Oak High School alumni, a sophomore. Caught 4 passes for 19 yards last week. Second time on this drive, Mount Sac's converted a 3rd and very long. Now a 1st and 10. That's Brandon Wilson inside the 30, and he's finally brought down at the 25 after a healthy gain of 8 on first down.
Well, their defense had a great sniff out of there as Nathan Fleming, the linebacker out of Fullerton, had him wrapped around. He kind of just slipped away unfortunately for Fullerton, but Mount Sac running hard as well as figuring out the passing game and passing lanes against Fullerton.
2nd and 2 here for the Mounties at the Fullerton 25. Allo rolls out to his right. He's going to take a shot deep towards the end zone, but he overshot his intended receiver, number 11, Antoine Anderson. That one was uncatchable. Threw it out of the back of the end zone, and now it'll be a 3rd and 2.
Well, I think also he kind of saw that he got a great jump on their DB out there, and maybe that was somewhat of a test to see if he can really beat him one-on-one. There was no safety near that ball either.
So Mount Sac, they've been able to convert the 3rd and longs. Can they convert this 3rd and 2? Allo on a play action has his man wide open. That is the big 6'6 target, Chris Gilchrist, who has a first down inside the 20. And for the second time in this game, Mount Sac in the red zone of those Fullerton Hornets. 1:54 left to go here in this opening quarter.
We'll see if they can get some points on the board here as they missed.
I think that's a 7.
Which one?
On the scoreboard. I don't think all that time's elapsed in this game.
Oh, it's flown by.
Really? 1st and 10. Handoff. Gates tripped up inside the 15.
We'll see. As Gates gets a nice run there. I mean, he's establishing. Out of all the backs that we've seen so far, Gates looks the quickest. Right? The quickest. Right. He's trying to get around those corners, unfortunately, for them on that last run.
You talked about the Hornets' three-headed monster. How about Mount Sac with Tolbert, Wilson, and Gates so far in this game? They've shown some strides in the running game. It's a 2nd and 7 for Mount Sac, looking to strike first here. Hilmer Lodge Stadium at the Fullerton 14. This time it's Tolbert. Gets inside the 10, inside the 5, and he's finally brought down right around the 4-yard line.
Well, you're talking about their three-headed monster here at Mount Sac also. Tolbert is their workhorse, though, as we see him march off the field to share some time with his teammates. He is the hard-nosed, run-downhill power back for the Mounties.
It's 1st and goal for Mount Sac. They've been in Fullerton territory twice. They've had opportunities to score. They threw a pick, and they missed a field goal. 35 seconds left to go in the opening quarter, no score. Mounties have it at the Hornets 6. It's a pistol set for Mount Sac. 4 receivers, 2 split out to each side. Handoff, Wilson gets inside the 5, and he's dragged down to the 3. Boy, you're right, Brian. This first quarter has flown by.
Yeah, and when you mentioned that, I kind of looked over and did a double take. I wasn't sure either, and then now officially they're going to pretty much let this clock wind all the way down and end the first quarter.
So we're going to end the first quarter here from Hilmer Lodge Stadium with no score between Mount Sac and Fullerton College, as the horn sounds here at Mount San Antonio College. No score between the Mounties and the Hornets. We're going to keep it right here on the national sports station, an affiliate of Spreaker.com. This is our first game for the Mount San Antonio College Mounties, and like we mentioned in the open, Brian, what a treat we're in for tonight with these two teams. It's a tie game after one quarter. Mount Sac knocking on the door. Going to be a second and goal from right around the Fullerton 3 when we resume play. But, I mean, two of these teams ranked in the top 10 nationally. What a matchup here in week 2 of the JUCO season.
Yeah, and, some great football ahead, I'm sure, in the rest of this game. Some things to think about after that first quarter. Allo didn't really settle in as far as looking and finding his receivers as of late. And to end that first quarter, he found Gilchrist a big target, the 6'6" big target receiver, and also the big running back Omaris Tolbert, who's established his running game as well, along with Gates and Hunter in the backfield. But you got to think that Gilchrist is going to be somewhat of his go-to target with such a big frame. The defensive backs and the safeties are going to have a hard time for Fullerton College if they keep throwing those strikes out to his wideout. We'll see what happens in start of the second quarter here.
And it looks like Mount Sac on the offensive side of the football, they've gotten just about everybody in that offensive unit involved. A bunch of different receivers that Allo's hitting. They've used 3 different running backs so far. And
making our job harder, keeping track.
Hey.
It's fun. I love it.
It is. So as we get set to resume play here.
When you can see a running back like Tolbert dominate for a couple downs, and then you see his counterpart, do the same thing.
Tolbert in the backfield with Wilson here. Tolbert dots the I. The handoff will go to him inside the 3, inside the 2, and he's down right around the 1.5-yard line. It's going to be a 3rd and goal situation for Mount Sac, and there's a lot of things you can do down here at the goal line. Sure, you can hand off to one of your 2 excellent backs, either Wilson or Tolbert, when you could run a little play action with Allo.
I love play action.
Send your tight end Stephen Short out, who could very well be wide open in the end zone.
Why wouldn't you do it on this call? That's why you have these guys in the backfield.
And you see Fullerton, a beefy defensive front, so it's going to be hard to run through that wall, even if it is only 1.5 yards. So here we go. 3rd and goal. Same formation, the I. 3 tight end set for Mount San Antonio. And now whistles blow. It'll be a timeout taken by Mount Sac. So they want to go over this so important 3rd down. They're listening. They're listening down there.
They're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. But, as I mentioned just a second ago, when you have established that power running game and you're this close to the goal line, why wouldn't you do it? You have the receivers.
You have the weapon. Stephen Short, a Division I caliber tight end. Send him out there, right?
By the way, Gilchrist is 6'6" out there also.
Throw up a jump ball. There's a lot of things.
I'm just saying.
Coach Jastrab has a lot of weapons here down on the goal line. Let's see what he elects to go to on a 3rd and goal from the 1.5-yard line early in this game. No score, 14-13 left to go in the second quarter.
Hey, I'd take Coach Jabs, they call him here at Mount Sac. I'd take his call over mine any day of the week. I'm just saying, as a fan, that's an exciting play for us to see. But, he knows exactly what he's doing with him and his staff. Obviously, they're
93-18 record here.
They're not a program that is taken lightly. So we'll see what Mount Sac does here on 3rd and goal.
Big play early in this game. I consider it a win if Mount Sac is held to a field goal here, if they even elect to do that. We'll see. 3rd and goal from the Fullerton 2, we'll call it. The lone back is Wilson. Allo, a jump pass towards the end zone, and it's incomplete. Mount Sac looking for a pass interference flag, but they won't get it. And a Tim Tebow-esque type of jump pass there doesn't work for the Mounties, and now decision time for Coach Jastrab on a 4th and goal from the Fullerton 2, and it looks like he's going to send out his field goal unit to try to put some points up on the board.
I have never seen that before, ever. They did you mentioned their tight ends. They did attempt the pass to Moses
Manu,
the tight end, 6'4", out of West Bountiful.
Wherever that
but
is.
It came up, short for the touchdown. So
this will be a 24 it'll be a 19-yard field goal. Chip shot here, and it'll get through the uprights. And Mount Sac strikes first with 14:05 left to go in the second quarter. The Mounties 3, the Hornets nothing here on Spreaker.com's own national sports. And like I was getting to before that third down play, you got to think that that's a win for the Hornets on the defensive side.
Well, we'll see what they can do on their offensive end.
They haven't looked too impressive on
offense. Joey Verhey is trying to get something going here for the Hornets of Fullerton College, and we'll see if Mount Sac continues to pressure the quarterback. Defensively, they look solid so far. Obviously, no points on the board yet for Fullerton College. We'll see if the Mounties can hold them to that.
That was Tavis Guerra, the freshman out of Whittier High School. On the field goal that time, 19-yarder. It's a chip shot. He missed one from 48 yards out earlier in the game, but Mount Sac, they finally get those 3 points up on the scoreboard. So 3-0 the Mounties lead. This will be Villarreal set to kick it off, and it's a very, very short kick that takes a hop at the 14, and Fullerton will pick it up at the 24-yard line, and going down at the 26, that's number 1, Prince Shinala, out of Cypress Creek High School all the way out in Florida. Speaking of guys coming across the country to play JUCO ball, he's just a freshman at 5'9", 160, and he's a wide receiver as well.
That was kind of a dangerous ball to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely.
A bouncing ball on a return is pretty much danger. I was shocked that he actually picked it up, but he did have a nice little return there. Thankfully for the Mount Sac.
Well, I think I don't know if that ball would have gone out of bounds if he didn't pick it up, because obviously, if it goes more than 10 yards and Mount Sac fell on top of it first, they would have had it inside the 30. But I do agree with you. I mean, that's a situation where, it has a chance to skip on out of bounds, and if it does, you start at your own 40. Instead, Fullerton's starting at their own 25. 3-0 the Mounties lead, courtesy of a 19-yard field goal, and whistles blow before the play. Fullerton calls their first timeout of the game here, and kind of an interesting spot to call your first timeout, but it looks like the Hornets weren't lined up properly, and Tim Burns, who has been the SoCal Coach of the Year 4 years in his career, and coincidentally he's done it back-to-back twice, 2008, 2009, and 2012, 2013, like we mentioned earlier. His 7th year as head coach here for the Hornets. 22nd season on the staff. That's commitment.
That's commitment, and it's great. And, Fullerton College has to feel pretty fortunate and blessed that, coaches that start to win and start to produce championships and titles, and they get the feeling like they need a different challenge, if you will. But the coaches stayed here for Coach Burns, and that's great for Fullerton College and the Hornets team.
Same goes for Jastrab. I'm sure he had opportunities to go bigger and better places, but his home is here in beautiful Walnut, California, or Mount Sac. 1st and 10 now. Verhey back to pass, throws to the tight end. That's number 43, Tim Holt, who plays a little bit of linebacker as well. And he gains himself about 7 yards to the 33-yard line. Interesting to see a guy playing both ways like Tim Holt at the collegiate level. You see it a lot in high school, but he's a linebacker and tight end, catching his first reception of the season there. 2nd and about 1.5 yards for Fullerton. Verhey back to pass once again. Now flushed out to his right. This time he'll hit his tight end, who's streaking down the sidelines and is taken down all the way at the 49-yard line. That looked like Joe Inda right there once again. And a big first down for Fullerton as they finally look to get in rhythm on the offensive side of the football.
I was just saying that Verhey needs to find some sort of rhythm here, and in the last 2 completions have been some nice plays to his tight ends for some good yardage there for the Hornets.
1st and 10. It'll be the handoff to Wilson. Wilson breaking tackles, gets to the outside, inside the 40 of Mount Sac before he's finally pushed out at the 38-yard line. So the 3-headed monster rearing its ugly head here on this drive. First and 10 for Fullerton at the Mount Sac 38. This is the first time tonight, Brian, that Fullerton has been in Mount San Antonio College territory. It's a pistol set, split wide, play action, and the pass will be completed here to Jarrell Moss, who's taken down in the backfield, back around the 42. Loss of nearly 4 on the play, and what a job by Mount Sac bottling up that play. They saw it coming, and they trounced all over Jarrell Moss, who had 3 receptions last week, but was a culprit of one of 4 fumbles lost by the Hornets.
Yeah, you're talking about a great push by the defense there. Number 94 was involved also for Mount Sac. Aluesi did a great job coming from the defensive end position.
I formation on a 2nd and 13. Ball at the Mount Sac 42. Verhey, he'll hand it off to Maxwell, and Maxwell meets a wall of Mount San Antonio College Mounties at the line of scrimmage. He's pushed back all the way around midfield. No gain there as forward progress. Thank goodness that time for Oran Maxwell that there is such thing as forward progress, or else that one would have been a loss of about 8.
You're talking about another good push and great play by the defense. That was led by their linebacking. One of the twins here, Suli Tama Avena.
That's a good job right there.
Hey, I try my best.
3rd and 13 now.
I'm trying to redeem myself after that first pronunciation.
Looks like Mount Sac jumped off sides. I don't see a flag. Verhey's going to be taken down in the backfield. He is sacked. That's big number 90 for the Mounties. Lolani Fa'olalu, whose name we had a little bit of trouble pronouncing earlier. The defensive tackle who has an offer from Iowa State takes down Verhey for the first sack of the game for Mount San Antonio. Very surprised they didn't call an offsides there. It looked like one of the Mounties' defensive linemen hopped into the neutral zone, but nonetheless now Fullerton forced to punt. Mount Sac brings the pressure, and it's an end-over-end kick that'll be called for a fair catch by Glass inside his own 10-yard line, and Mount Sac will start at their own 8, up 3-0 here with 10:42 left to go in the second quarter from Hilmer Lodge Stadium, where the sun is almost set. The shadows are off of the field, and it's the reason that the lights are on.
Well, Fa'olahu, who sacked the quarterback, Verhey, on that last play, he talked about they didn't call the offsides, thankfully, for Mount Sac. He just did a great job. I was watching him on that play. He did a nice job sticking with the play, did not give up. As Verhey tried to step up into the pocket, he kind of blindsided him there and took him down for the loss.
So now Mount Sac, after an offensive possession last time out, which resulted in 3 points, will try to drive 92 yards to punch in their first touchdown of the night. It's a pistol set here for the Mounties. Tolbert, the lone back, gets the carry. Big hole up the middle. And he's down at the 19-yard line for a pickup of 9 on first down. Tolbert, so interesting. No disrespect to Orange Coast College, but it's not like they're a premier JUCO team in Southern California like Mount Sac. He gets 23 carries over there last year. Comes over here, and he's the Mounties' number 1 back on their depth chart. He'll get the carry here once again. It has another big hole here, and has another Mount San Antonio first down to the 33. Pickup of 13 for Tolbert. And speaking of him, I don't know why OCC passed on such a back like Omaris Tolbert.
I have no idea. He kind of reminds me of Eddie Lacy right now.
Absolutely. He's got the long hair, too.
Not only that, but he's just running hard and at Fullerton College. That last run that he had, the last 2 runs that he had, it almost looked like he got up and he was doing the little cry face to the defense of Fullerton College. And, I mean, that's how pumped up this kid is. He's definitely establishing.
He's gotten his second chance here at Mount Sac, and he's taking advantage of it.
Yeah, and, now we got Gates in there, and he's a freshman, and he got 6 carries last week, but we'll see what he does here.
2nd and 10. It'll be Allo keeping, and Allo taken down after a gain of 3.
That was just a broken play there. Allo was fortunate enough to not meet and greet with any defensive players of Fullerton College on that play. He looked to hand off to Gates, and Gates was on the other side trying to block for him.
Allo, not the biggest guy in the world. 6'1", 195. was a wide receiver, like we mentioned earlier, at the University of Hawaii. Comes back home to Southern California, picks one of the premier programs out here in Mount Sac, and they convert him to a quarterback, and he's done a pretty nice job so far. 3rd and 7 here for the Mounties. Ball at their own 36. Allo back to pass. He's going to throw a deep route down the sidelines for Derek Mackin. And a late flag flies in, and that looks like it's going to be a pass interference call on Fullerton.
That was a late flag, very late flag. That was Marnez Ogletree on the coverage, the DB, 5'11", trying to guard that frame as he kind of had a step on him. It almost looked like he was beat, but he kind of tied him up at the very, very end, right before the ball fell to the ground there. The receiver maybe, helping out the referee's call there because he was right in front of the Mount Sac
Dangerous
bench.
pass, though, by Justin Allo. Put it in a spot where it could have easily been intercepted, almost triple coverage that he threw in that time. But instead, Mount Sac, they get the flag. And now they're in Fullerton territory at the Hornet 49. 1st and 10. Gates trying to find a way outside, but he can't. He's taken down for about a loss of 1 at midfield.
That was a DB, Austin Steele, on that play. He was trying to cut around the corner, was Gates, and there was no room as that defensive line had a nice push on the right side.
You talk about a guy like Darren Mackin, who was targeted on the PI, another transfer from a somewhat lower tier SoCal school, El Camino. Last week, 4 receptions, 124 yards, and 2 TDs for Mount Sac. A guy who only caught 14 receptions for 100 yards and 2 TDs last year. Really interesting. Allo flushed out to his right here. He's going deep downfield for Mackin, and he caught it inside the 10, and he's down right at the 5-yard line. And a couple of flags come in late.
It's a lot of flags on the field after that catch.
But how about the catch that time? Speaking of him, Derek Mackin comes down with a 45-yard reception, if it does in fact stand. A leaping grab into the air that time, and if this one was on ESPN, you might see it in the top 10. But
well, just some great hops there by Mackin as a 6'4" frame. He's 190 out of Miami, as you said and mentioned, and he just showed his athleticism there.
How in the world did he only have 14 receptions for 2 TDs for El Camino of all schools last year, and he's coming over here and thriving just like Tolbert is. We'll get the call from the officials on the field here. Oh, that's a bummer. That's on Mount Sac.
Another hold. But Mount Sac, you're saying how are these players not fully progressing in other colleges like El Camino, OCC? Mount Sac just has the eye for talent. They're scouting these players, and they see if you're not getting the touches and you want more action here, we can infuse you into this offense. That's what they're doing with Tolbert. That's what they're doing with Derek Micon on that last play there. Unfortunately, it's called back for Mount Sac
because of the penalty, and the penalties have really hurt the Mounties so far in this game.
Those are three,
especially on the offensive side.
3 holding penalties there.
Now the ball backed up into Mountie territory at the 49. So instead of being at a 1st and goal at the Fullerton 5, you're at a 2nd and 12 back in your own territory at your own 49-yard line.
Jabs is going to have a word at halftime about those holding penalties, that's for sure.
I'm sure the players will hear about it a lot in practice this upcoming week as well.
It'll be hot next week, too. I feel bad for them already.
Especially out here in the Inland Empire. Can you call this the Inland? This is the Inland Empire, right?
No.
Kind of.
Almost.
Bunch of hills everywhere. There's a screen pass here. We'll go to Mackin. And Mackin trying to get that yardage back. Gets inside the 45, inside the 40, inside the 30. And he's knocked out of bounds at the Fullerton College 28-yard line. Derek Mackin, no flags here, gets the catch and the first down for Mount Sac.
Mackin showing his athleticism again as he gets that screen pass from his quarterback, Justin Alo, and just turns the corner, finds a lane along the sideline, gets a first down for Mount Sac.
1st and 10 for the Mounties at the Hornets' 29-yard line. They lead 3-0 with 7.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Tolbert gets to the outside, inside the 20, inside the 15, and he's finally dragged down all the way at the Hornet 11-yard line. 2 guys that got limited playing time last year at OCC and El Camino, respectively, making big impacts early on in the season for Mount Sac. And Tolbert, that time a transfer from OCC, picks up a first down for the Mounties, and now it's 1st and goal.
Yeah, Tolbert does his work there, and Gates now in on this possession. We'll see if they continue some power running here by Mount Sac.
1st and goal. At the 10, Allo, play action. It's Glass on the reception. He gets inside the 5, and he's pummeled out of bounds at the 3. Interesting to see the screen pass there, but it goes for 7 yards, and now Mount Sac 3 yards away from their first touchdown of the evening.
We'll see if they can punch it through here, Chris, as they've had plenty of opportunities. Penalties, unfortunately, halting that.
2nd down. Allo keeping out to the right. Dives for the pylon, but he did not get in. The ball will be marked down inside the 1 yard line. And now upcoming is a 3rd and inches situation. Inside the 1 yard line, out of the gun. Allo, the lone back is Wilson to his right. Allo will keep again. He goes untouched into the end zone. Touchdown, Mount San Antonio.
What happened there? What happened was they did a no huddle after Allo tried to sneak in on the previous play. They come right back with the same play, and they get in for the 6.
So Mount Sac adds on to that lead. They're an extra point away from a 10-0 lead here over the Fullerton College Hornets with 6:21 left to go before we hit the half. Villarreal in to attempt the extra point. That one splits the uprights. It is good, and it is 10-0. Mount Sac. Justin Allo from a yard out punches in the first touchdown in this ballgame.
Sorry, Chris. They've done such a great job as far as maintaining some power running there, and Allo got comfortable, saw something that he liked that the defense was giving him, and called the same play with no huddle and got in for the touchdown. Great heads-up play by the quarterback, even better play by the offensive coordinator and their staff down there with Coach J-Strap,
We'll just stick to his nickname.
Jabs.
Yeah, that's a little bit easier.
I'm having all kinds of trouble with the Hawaiian names.
It's our first game. By what we hope is the state championship. I'm sure we'll have everything down to the point where we can say the names backwards correctly. Is that possible? It's possible.
The Twins might have a hard time saying the Twins' name backwards.
I'm not even going to try. 6:21 left to go in the second quarter. Mount Sac up 10-0. A 19-yard field goal and a 1-yard TD run by the Mountie QB Justin Allo, who had a rushing touchdown last week as well. Villarreal kicks this one not very deep. It'll be taken at the 12. Trying to find some room, but unable to that time for Fullerton was number 25, Marnez Ogletree. And that is where the Hornets will start their offensive possession. And Brian, let's be real here. The Fullerton offense has been less than impressive, to say the least, here so far in this ballgame.
Well, it seems that way because they've been halted by penalties and not continuing any drive successfully. But they've got something going in the air, does Fullerton College. Verhey, we'll see if they continue it on this drive.
1st and 10 for Fullerton at their own 24. Handoff, Maxwell, not going anywhere. Boy, you got to give credit to Fullerton's goose egg on the scoreboard, too, to that Mountie defense. They've been all over the Hornets so far in this game.
They've done nothing but disrupt the run. That's what's surprising me so far. Attacking with their last drive, they had a couple possessions to their tight ends that worked out pretty well for them.
High formation here for the Hornets on a 2nd and 9.5. Verhey. That's not Verhey. There's a new quarterback in the game for Fullerton, and he's going to be taken down in the backfield at the 18-yard line. That's the backup, Jordan Ramey. So we're not sure if Verhey, the freshman, suffered an injury or he's just taken out because the offense wasn't doing well with him in. But Fullerton going with a different quarterback here, the sophomore, not the freshman, Jordan Ramey. 6'4", 225 out of Snailville, Georgia.
That sounds like a slow town.
Doesn't it? It's probably somewhere we'll never find ourselves in our lifetime, but you never do know. 3rd and 14. Ramey back to pass. Faces pressure. And he going down again. Back at the 1-yard line. The Mounties think that they recovered the football, but the referees are going to mark Ramey down at his own 1-yard line, and Fullerton here going to punt from their own end zone. Things are going from bad to worse for the Hornets here at Mount Sac.
Well, that defensive play was led by the charge of Skylar Krall, the D lineman out of Glendora, so right around the corner here, 6'2", 250. They thought they had the touchdown and fumble recovery there.
It'll be a short punt here. It'll be fielded by Ryan Simpson. He gets inside the Fullerton 40, and he's down at the 35. So excellent field position here for Mount Sac, who leads 10-0 as it is. 4:14 left to go in the second quarter. And why the quarterback change? I mean, it's early in the game. It's early in the season. Sure, Verhey didn't have all that great of a week last week in a victory against Ventura, but this is a guy that was a 3-star recruit out of high school, went to Phillips Academy in Boise, Idaho, and comes to one of the top junior colleges in Southern California looking to get to that Division I level eventually, and you pull him out of the game, so you got to think that it's maybe an injury here to Verhey?
Well, right now we don't know. It's all speculation on our end. Hopefully for Fullerton College it's not an injury. The coaching staff may think that they might have to do something different here, that the second quarterback.
Ramey didn't look all that impressive. The 2 times he dropped back to pass, he was sacked. And that sets up Mounties with some unbelievable field position here as Allo on the first play going towards the end zone, but a little bit too far for his intended receiver that time, and that's the big 6'6" target, Chris Gilchrist.
He was wide open, Chris. The DB could not catch up to him, and if that ball is thrown on target, that is another touchdown on the first play of this drive.
Well, myself standing at a generous 5'10", I'm very honored to share a first name with a man who's 6'6". 2nd and 10 now from Mount Sac at the Fullerton 35. I do like the arm of Justin Allo for a former wide receiver. Certainly impressive. Man in motion from the far side of the field to the near side of the field is Simpson. Allo back to pass once again. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to take off and run and takes a big hit at the 31 after a gain of 4.
And that was number 34, Jarrett Thomas, the linebacker, 225, 6'2", out of Baton Rouge.
They're coming from everywhere.
They are coming from everywhere. But nice play by the defense just to prevent any more further progress by Allo, as he didn't see any options down the field. His receivers were pretty tightly covered on that last play.
4 receivers set here for the Mounties on a 3rd and 6. Ball at the Fullerton 31. Allo drops back to pass, has time, throws to Gilchrist, who has a first down and more, gets inside the 20, and he's taken out of bounds at the 17. Justin Allo keeps it going through the air, and the Mounties once again in the red zone of the Hornets here, looking to go up big and break this thing open.
Gilchrist wanted to go in the end zone so bad on that. He was just stiff-arming his way down the field there. Great reception and catch and move by Gilchrist.
1st and 10 for the Mounties. Ball at the Hornet 18-yard line. Handoff Wilson up the middle for about a gain of 5. Mount Sac just doing it all on the offensive side of the ball. They can run the ball at you at will if they want to, and they can air it out a bit too.
They've shown great versatility in their offensive scheme here against Fullerton College so far.
What a big early season test this is for a Mountie team that missed out on the playoffs so surprisingly last year, as the pass is complete. Inside the 10 goes Gilchrist, breaking tackles, and is finally dragged out of bounds at the 5. And here's Mount Sac again with a 1st and goal.
You know, Gilchrist doesn't want to go down. He's pumping his fist right now, talking about get the ball to me, get the ball to me. He's doing a great job, not only after the catch and running, but shaking off those defenders. So he's trying to really set the tone here, just being outside in that dominant area where he's so big. He's such a big target at 6'6" for Allo.
a sophomore trying to get himself to the Division I level. And whistles blow. Looks like we're going to have another timeout here. Let's see who takes it. And it'll be Mount Sac second. They have one more remaining here. That stops the clock with 2 minutes and 9 seconds left to go before we hit the half. Coming up at the half, we'll have scores from other JUCO games around Southern California, and we'll hopefully get you some stats as well, and we'll take a look at what has transpired here so far in this ball game, and we'll take a look ahead to the second half, a second half that looks like it'll be all Mounties heading into the second half. And right here, after we get out of this timeout taken by Mount Sac, it'll be a first and goal situation for the Mounties at the Fullerton 5-yard line. And I'm just so impressed by this team's play so far. And Fullerton 12-1 a year ago, the defending Southern California champions, and they're making it look easy out there as Mount Sac.
Well, you know, there's so much tradition here, like we've mentioned already before, and such a great coaching staff that they have here, led by Coach Jabs, they call him.
Attaboy.
You know, they know what they're doing out there. And, you know, there's no slight to Fullerton College. What a great program they have over there as well. But this is a well-oiled machine in Mount Sac, and we'll see if they can keep it going here in the second quarter as it's winding down for the first half.
Mount Sac looking to break this thing open a bit. They already lead 10-0. They have the ball at the Fullerton College, about 5.5 yard line. It's an I formation here. Chris Gilchrist, the 6'6 wideout, lined up to the near side of the field. Tolbert will dot the I. He'll get the football here, gets inside the 5, tries to get that push from that big offensive line, and he's all the way down to the 1 yard line.
Almost looked like some sort of a counterplay there by Tolbert as he kind of cut to his right and then zigzagged his way back to the left. But
he's elusive. He's big, he's powerful, but he's elusive as well.
Yeah, I mean it's all facet or characteristics that are a nightmare for the defense.
And Tolbert has been a nightmare for this defense so far in limited carries. Had a couple of TDs last week. Who knows? He might get the call here on a second and goal from the Fullerton 1. He'll dot the I once again for Mount Sac. Allo under center. He'll hand off to Tolbert, and Tolbert cut up. No gain. Ball came loose, but after Tolbert's knee hit the ground. So
he was about a step and a half, maybe 2 steps away from crossing that goal line as he was tripped up by the Fullerton College defense. Nice play by them as they went really low on him, and he ultimately touched the ground with his knees, making him down there, Chris.
So now it's a third and goal from the 1 yard line. Let's see if the Mounties can punch it in here, but before that, Fullerton will take their second time out of the half with 1:12 remaining. We've got to come up with a name for our halftime show. Something simple, the Mount San Antonio College halftime show, something like that. Figure it out. Just the halftime show.
Something, we got to incorporate the meeting the Mounties halfway up the mountain or something like that.
Something like that. You can definitely see why, in fact, they are called the Mounties, because we are literally in the middle of a plethora of mountains here at Hilmer Lodge Stadium.
Well, they will have a remodeled and renovated stadium here, Chris, after this
Behind
season.
This stadium, right? Looks like there's a big
they're
section.
going to redo this whole area right here.
Wow. Okay.
It's going to look fantastic. And
it already looks all right.
It's great. It's a great view from up here in the press area. There's no doubt about that. But they are going to renovate, and it's well-deserved for this football program and the track team as well, as they'll get a premium upgrade with some, I'm sure, air-conditioned and nice press box areas for the media that attends the games here.
Are they doing all this for us? Really? We haven't. Yeah. We're not even a half through our first game yet.
Yeah.
And they're spending, I'm sure, millions of dollars to make this place look even nicer. Out of the timeout, it's a 2-back set for the Mounties. Third and goal from the Fullerton 1. Allo, snap back. He's going to keep it himself. Dives for the pylon. He got in. Touchdown, Mounties.
Well, and you know what? I'm so surprised because the dominant run game here by the Mounties, by their three-headed monsters in the backfield. Forget about the backfield. It's Justin Allo's show right now. That make it his second touchdown of the game.
So Justin Allo His running backs couldn't get it done down around the goal line. He says, hey, I'm going to take this myself. And for the second time tonight, that time a little bit more difficult for Allo, but he jumps over the big pile and gets in to the end zone. That's another 1-yard score for Allo, his second of the night. Like I mentioned, extra point up and good. It's 17-0. Mount Sac all over Fullerton here at home. And, boy, I'm a little bit surprised at this score.
Oh, well, you knew it was going to be a good game. You knew it was going to be a tight game. There's still plenty of time left here for Fullerton College to get back into this game. By no means is it over, and by no means is this a big lead, but it is a comfortable lead right now for Coach Jabs, I'm sure. We'll see if he continues to put his foot on the gas pedal, so to speak, and really take it to Fullerton College the rest of the way. Fullerton College really just looking for any spark here on the offensive end. On their last possession there, they took out their starting quarterback and replaced him. We'll see if that is going to continue here as Fullerton College awaits the kickoff.
We'll see what Fullerton's 1-minute offense can do down 17-0. I'd imagine you can't be content with a 17-0 deficit going into the half, but the way that Mount Sac's defense has played, you're better off just running out the clock here and trying to get yourselves together come second half as Villarreal sets to kick, and it's another short one. It'll be fielded at the 12-yard line by Ogletree. He gets to the outside across the 30-yard line, across the 35, still on his feet, and there goes Ogletree down the sidelines. Ogletree, a couple of men to beat, and he's finally dragged down inside the 20-yard line of the Mounties. The worst possible scenario that time for the Mount Sac special teams unit, and you would have absolutely liked to hold Fullerton to a goose egg here heading into the locker room at halftime.
Well, the Mounties can thank Kelvin Stewart on that last tackle, on that return.
Touchdown-saving tackle for sure.
Yeah, he was the last man there as the Mounties are still holding him.
Well, it looks like there is a late flag down on the far side of the field around the 32-yard line, and this could very well be holding against Fullerton. That's what you generally see on kick returns. Instead, it's a personal foul against Fullerton, so that'll back him up further than a holding penalty will. And we'll see exactly where the Hornets will start this offensive possession. They'll still start it in Mount Sac's territory, but, I mean, Fullerton just can't catch a break tonight.
Well, they had some success with their tight end plays that, like I said earlier, and we'll see with just 56 seconds left to go in this first half if they have some quick plays that maybe are more so towards the sideline for Fullerton College. They can get the completion and more importantly stop that clock and see what happens as the ball is now at the 35-yard line.
So that is where Fullerton will start with 56 seconds in their pocket to play with before we hit the half. 17-0 Mount Sac. And we'll see what quarterback they elect to go to here, and they go back to the starter, Joey Verhey. So perhaps they were just trying out something new with the backup sophomore Ramey, who didn't fare any better. Handoff. This is Khalil Wilson getting inside the 35 down to the 30 for about a gain of 5.
Khalil Wilson, I believe that's his first action. If not, it was maybe just his second carry there for Fullerton College. He looked fast, and he unfortunately slipped and fell. Could have got a few more yards there, Chris.
At the very least, if you're Fullerton, you're trying to get in field goal range as the pass is complete here to the big tight end. That's number 43, Tim Holt. And he has a Fullerton College first down inside the 25 of Mount Sac. So now you got to think, at the very least, you're in field goal range.
Yeah, and that'll be big for Fullerton College if they can get those points on the board before the half ends here.
Because it cuts it down to a two-possession game. And in the wonderful sport that is college football, that can happen in a snap of the fingers.
Hey, I was calling some high school football last night. I blinked after it was 7-0, and I blinked, and it was 21-0. So, just as you're talking about, it's football.
Don't blink tonight, Brian.
It is football. There's plenty of time left here for this game.
1st and 10 at the 23, and whistles blow. It looks like Coach Jabs is going to take his final timeout of the half here, with 24 seconds left on the clock before we hit halftime. And don't go anywhere at halftime. We're going to have scores from other games around the Southern California JUCO scene. And we'll talk a little bit about this first half that has been all Mount Sac so far, and what in the world Fullerton needs to do in the second half to get back into this football game.
Well, last week they had some great success in their run game, and you're talking about, we had mentioned already earlier that they have quite a few guys on that team that can run the ball. You talk about Khalil Wilson, Maxwell, Baker, Sam also getting a carry in the last game. But these are young kids also. These are first-year players going up against such a veteran Mount Sac defense here, Chris.
And something we failed to mention, Ventura took a 10-0 lead last week against Fullerton, and Fullerton stormed back 29 unanswered points. So don't call it a comeback if they score here. 1st and 10. Verhey faces pressure, back to pass, and it's incomplete. Just had to get it away that time, and a late flag flies in. I'm thinking a PI here, but that wasn't even in the vicinity of the receiver.
The way the ball was released and landed, it almost looked like it might be. And I think there's no penalty. Here you go, PI, there you go.
So PI.
So that'll be first down.
The Mounties, they're winning the game 17-0, but in the penalty department and in the yardage department, they're beating themselves.
Yeah, unfortunate for Mount Sac giving up a penalty so close to halftime here. Obviously don't want to give up any points with just a few seconds left here against Fullerton College.
Now it's a 1st and goal for the Hornets at the 10 with 19 seconds left. Fullerton has 1 timeout left. So you got to think they have maybe 3 plays here, assuming they're all passing plays. Verhey faces pressure, going to throw one up into the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown Hornets. How about that? He just lobbed it up there, and his man came down with it.
Guess who that was? Their tight end.
Tim Holt. Touchdown.
So Tim Holt on the nice play as he slid and caught the ball literally right before it hit that ground and putting Fullerton College up. That penalty was very big at the end of the half here for the Hornets.
And it wasn't the prettiest pass in the world from Verhey. It's his second at the collegiate level, first of this game. And the special teams inefficiency on that defense return for Mount Sac cost them. And a little 7-point swing here as Fullerton hops on the board with 14 seconds before we hit the half, and we have a ball game, 17-7. Mount Sac leads.
We were questioning and asking to see if we were going to see any points before the half. Unfortunately for Mount Sac, that did happen. Hopefully they clean it up a little bit, as they say, with the penalties, and maybe they can have some tighter defense. They've had 3 holding calls. I think
the penalty and the special teams play for Fullerton really fueled that drive. I don't think you can really knock the Mount Sac defense just yet. And I think they've done a fantastic job in this first half. And you take away, you kick it off like you should and start, in your own territory. If you're Fullerton, you're looking at a 17-0 ball game going into the half. But simple mental mistakes on penalties and special teams play cost Mount Sac 7 points here as we head to the locker room, and you got to think that gives a little bit of momentum to the Hornets over there on that far sideline.
Yeah, they're down in this game, but they have what is a little bit of momentum heading into the halftime. We'll see what Mount Sac can do as far as containing that and then regaining it themselves, ultimately taking it away from Fullerton College.
So now Fullerton, for just the second time since the kickoff of this game, will line up to boot it away. And it'll be a short kick that'll be fair caught at the 35-yard line. So who knows what Coach Jazz will do here, but I'm assuming just to avoid the ball even touching a Hornet here, that he'll just kneel this one down and send it to the locker room at 17-7 Mount Sac. You got to be content with a 10-point lead over the defending Southern California champion Fullerton Hornets.
Yeah, I would take it a cautious play here, but who knows? Coach Jazz might even air it out. Who knows? Fullerton College, if they do get the ball, as they're unsure on how they're.
Looks like it's going to be a.
They're taking a knee.
QB kneel, and sure enough it will. Allo takes the knee, and that will take us to the half here from Hilmer Lodge Stadium in Walnut, California. It is Mount Sac 17, the Hornets of Fullerton College 7. They get on the board with 14 seconds left to go before we hit the locker room for halftime. Brian and I will be back with scores from around Southern California JUCO ball, and we remind you to stay tuned here for the Mount San Antonio College football halftime report. We'll take a look at what just transpired in this first half and take a look ahead to the second half as well. 17-7, Mount Sac on top of Fullerton here from Hilmer Lodge.
Who is the team to beat in the National Football League as we begin preseason action? NFL insider Robert Dieters is up next on National Sports. The story of the 2013 Major League season has been the resurgence of the Dodgers, led by Yasiel Puig. How realistic of a shot does Los Angeles have at making the World Series? Jason Gerline leads the roundup next on National Sports. Your presentation of National Sports is brought to you by Spreaker.com. Broadcast and listen to news, radio, and music with one low monthly rate. Your show will be right back after this word from your local stations. You can contact National Sports in a number of ways, through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter with the label National Sports. We love to have you guys a part of our show and can easily join us also through text or call. You're listening to the National Sports radio station on Spreaker.com. America's pastime of baseball is changing as we know it into a sport we've never seen before. Where is the game headed in the next few years? Major League correspondent Cameron Sadeghi has the answer to that question next on the National Sports radio station from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, this is Sam Rosen, and I'm here with Sam's Situation.
Good afternoon and welcome into the corner. It's Chris's Corner here on Spreaker.com, a National Sports affiliate.
Hello and welcome to the Cameron Sadeghi Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Deep Sports Talkery. This is affiliated with National Sports.
Cameron Sadeghi, Chris Sylvester, Sam Rosen, Andrew Goldstein, Daniel Levy, and the entire broadcast crew with Commissioner Robert Dieters. You are live from National Sports radio station in Los Angeles, California. Live from Los Angeles, we thank you for listening to another presentation of the National Sports radio station on Spreaker.com. Who are the hot teams in the Major League Baseball season heading into the playoffs? Stephen Hughes is on tap and set to join us next on the National Sports radio station from Los Angeles, California. Presentation of National Sports is brought to you by Spreaker.com. Broadcast and listen to news, radio, and music with one low monthly rate. Your show will be right back after this word from your local stations. You can contact National Sports in a number of ways, through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter with the label National Sports. We love to have you guys a part of our show and can easily join us also through text or call. You're listening to the National Sports radio station on Spreaker.com. America's pastime, but baseball is changing as we know it into a sport we've never seen before. Where is the game headed in the next few years? Major League correspondent Cameron Sadeghi has the answer to that question next on the national sports radio station from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, this is Sam Rosen, and I'm
17-7, the Mount Sac Mounties over the Fullerton College Hornets. What a game it has been so far. Some halftime scores we can get you caught up with here in the junior college scoreboard. Santa Ana 13-0. San Diego Mesa and LA Southwest are tied at 0. No score there after one quarter. And with 8.5 left in the second quarter, West LA is down to San Bernardino Valley 21-7. And then also in the first quarter, Orange Coast and Cerritos. Cerritos up 14-6. All the other games are underway and in progress right now, as it is 17-7 here after Fullerton College capitalized on a late penalty there, Chris, by Mount Sac, and they took full advantage of the pass interference penalty that Mount Sac committed and scoring their first touchdown of the game, a touchdown pass to their tight end, putting them on the board.
Big Tim Holt, he's led the way receiving for Fullerton College in this first half, 4 receptions for 38 yards and that TD. Verhey, the quarterback for the Fullerton College Hornets, he's completed 7 of 8 passes, but for just 44 yards, he's been sacked a couple of times. That number kind of jumps out to me because we were kind of bagging on Verhey, saying he wasn't doing all that great of a job. Granted, it's only 44 yards compared to the 129 thrown by Justin Allo. I think it's just been play calling that's kind of done in Verhey so far in this first half stat-wise.
I think it's big just for him to make those completions. It's kind of like basketball. When you're in a slump and you're throwing the ball in the net, you see the ball get into the net. He's seeing the hands of his receivers, and he's making those throws. And you said it's only 44 yards, but it is. Those are completions that are being completed to his receivers, more so his tight end, who you mentioned led the Hornets in receiving yards.
Well, let's recap the scoring for you here on Spreaker.com's own national sports. Brian Tabajay, Chris Sylvester here with you. Our first night doing Mountie football for quite a legendary program, if you want to call it that, for Mount Sac here in Walnut, California. Mount Sac scored first. All the scoring happening in the second quarter, by the way. 14 minutes, 5 seconds left to go in the second. They kicked through a 19-yard field goal by Alberto Villarreal, and back-to-back possessions. They got a 1-yard touchdown run for Justin Allo, so 2 rushing TDs for the Mount Sac QB tonight. Put up Mount Sac 17-0, but a big return by Ogletree for the Hornets set them up in fantastic field position. They were aided by a pass interference call as well against Mount San Antonio, and Fullerton was able to capitalize with 14 seconds left to go in the half. You look at pretty much every single offensive statistic, though. Mount Sac pummeling Fullerton in the time of possession department. 20 minutes, 49 seconds for the Mounties. 9 minutes, 11 seconds for the Fullerton College Hornets. Yardage as well in the passing game, 129 to 44, 274 to 37 overall. The Fullerton Hornets, you talk about that three-headed monster, they've carried the ball 10 times for just 7 yards in that first half of play. Mount Sac, they've done a tremendous job defensively, and so far no turnovers in this game for Fullerton, but that's not doing them in. It's the lack of offense And I got to criticize the play calling a little bit as well.
Well, it's not the fact that they're not really doing the job offensively. The Mount Sac defense is just that great. You're talking about a team that is ranked nationally in Fullerton College, and they've been stuck for the most part, if you want to call it. The defense of Mount San Antonio is just doing a great job. They're pushing up front, and they're getting to the quarterback. I believe they have a couple sacks as well. So Verhey not really feeling too comfortable in the pocket. And
they bring in the backup Ramey, and he gets sacked twice and he's almost safetied.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Their defense is just that good.
Tenacious.
So, we'll see what happens here in the second half. A little momentum falls into halftime with Fullerton College. We'll see if they bring that out or if the Hornets get stuck and stopped by the Mountains or the Mounties here.
Hey, you're looking at Mountains right now.
I was looking at Mountains right now. That's why I kind of fumbled there. But we'll see if they can continue this momentum that they have. But, you got to believe that Mount Sac and Coach Jabs are going to have their defense ready for a very important third and fourth quarter here at Hilmer Lodge.
But definitely some momentum in the favor of Fullerton. They get that score with 14 seconds left in the second quarter, and they receive this kick here to start the second half in a little over 10 minutes from now. What do they got to do in this second half to get back in this ball game? Granted, it's only a 10-point ball game, and they came back from a 10-point deficit last week against Ventura, but it's against a much better team in Mount Sac this week, and you're on the road.
Well, you see just a little bit of a comfort zone, if you will, with Verhey and his tight end there, Tim Holt. 4 receptions, 38 yards, and a touchdown for Holt. And you just, he has to get some sort of rhythm out there. There's been not too much fluidity in both drives, or the drives, period, for either team. So they've been, although impressive ends for Mount Sac and scoring touchdowns, there still hasn't been a fluid drive for either team, really. Off the top of my head, I see, Mount Sac doing a great job with their receivers at Gilchrist and Macon and Glass, and also their running backs as well. But Fullerton College just has to find some sort of rhythm, Chris.
Yeah, Gilchrist, like you said, 4 catches for 43 yards. Vaughn's a couple of catches for 25. And then on the rushing side of the football, you got Omaris Tolbert, 12 carries for 84 yards. He's had another fantastic game. That's 7 yards per carry there. And Brandon Wilson in that backup role, 6 carries for 49 yards. That's 8.2 yards per carry. I think Fullerton really needs to focus in on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball in the second half. I don't think the defense has played all that well. I think, obviously, Mount Sac, they helped them out with that interception on the first drive of the game when the Mounties were driving inside the 20 of the Hornets, and you had a missed field goal if you're Mount Sac as well. So certainly you could have a lot more than 17 points up on the scoreboard right now, but you'll definitely take a 10-point lead going into the half against such a good team a year ago.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention, that big interception on the first drive for Mount Sac, and also them missing the field goal, like you said, that was a great sign of their defense, and they kind of turned away from, getting to the quarterback. Kind of shuffle a few times in this game, and Mount Sac, they just had to stick with their guns defensively as far as keeping pressure on the quarterback and really, having some great coverage out there by their defensive backs and their safeties.
Yeah, absolutely, and that has led them to a 17-7 lead over Fullerton College at the half. We're going to step aside real quick and take a little bit more of an in-depth preview of the second half when we get back here on Spreaker.com's own National Sports.
Who is the team to beat in the National Football League as we begin preseason action? NFL insider Robert Dieters is up next on National Sports. The story of the 2013 Major League season has been the resurgence of the Dodgers, led by Yasiel Puig. How realistic of a shot does Los Angeles have at making the World Series? Jason Gerline leads the roundup next on National Sports. Your presentation of national sports is brought to you by Spreaker.com. Broadcast and listen to news, radio, and music with one low monthly rate. Your show will be right back after this word from your local stations. You can contact national sports in a number of ways through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter with the label National Sports. We love to have you guys a part of our show and can easily join us also through text or call. You're listening to the National Sports radio station on Spreaker.com. America's pastime of baseball is changing as we know it into a sport we've never seen before. Where is the game headed in the next few years? Major League correspondent Cameron Sadeghi has the answer to that question next on the National Sports radio station from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, this is Sam Rosen, and I'm here with Sam's Situation.
Good afternoon and welcome into the corner. It's Chris's Corner here on Spreaker.com, a national sports affiliate.
Hello and welcome to the Cameron Sadeghi Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Deep Sports Talkery. This is affiliated with National Sports.
Cameron Sadeghi, Chris Sylvester, Sam Rosen, Andrew Goldstein, Daniel Levy, and the entire broadcast crew with Commissioner Robert Dieters. You are live from National Sports radio station in Los Angeles, California. Live from Los Angeles, we thank you for listening to another presentation of the National Sports radio station on Spreaker.com. Who are the hot teams in the Major League Baseball season heading into the playoffs? Stephen Hughes is on tap and set to join us next on the National Sports radio station from Los Angeles, California.
Back here at Hilmer Lodge Stadium in Walnut, California, where we are at halftime as the Mount San Antonio College Mounties lead the Fullerton College Hornets by a score of 17-7. Another surprising score just passed along to us up here in the booth. Riverside College, who is ranked in some rankings, the Dirty 30, for example, higher than Mount Sac and the Fullerton Hornets, they lead at Saddleback by 1, 17-16 at the half in that game. So we'll keep you updated on that game and, of course, all the other games from around the Southern California JUCO scene here, as it's week 2 for junior college football, and it feels good to be back. As it's still technically summer, and it's still scorching hot day in and day out here, especially in Walnut, California. 17-7 our score here as we get set to start the second half here in about 3-4 minutes or so, as we take a look at a little bit more of the stats for this first half of play between Fullerton and Mount Sac. You look at the time possession, like we mentioned earlier, Mount Sac dominating in that department, 20 minutes and 49 seconds to 9 minutes and 11 seconds. But you also got to look at the penalties as well. 4 penalties for 44 yards on Mount Sac, 3 of those holding calls, and of course the big pass interference penalty that set up Fullerton for that second quarter score before we hit the half. And you look at Fullerton, a team that was penalized 11 times last week. Only 2 penalties against them so far here tonight, but for 30 yards and costly, as both came on the defensive side of the ball, helping Mount Sac out on offensive possessions. Mount Sac up 17-7. They've certainly looked like the better team offensively, but the big question is can their defense continue to hold up? They did a fantastic job holding Fullerton to just 37 total yards in the first half of play. 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks on the day for that Mountie defensive front as well. So they look awfully impressive here to start this game, but an entire half left to be played, and we're looking forward to it and hope you stick around for it. We're going to take a final commercial break, and we'll be back with the third quarter of action from Hilmer Lodge Stadium in Walnut, California. It's 17-7, the Mounties over the Hornets.
Who is the team to beat in the National Football League as we begin preseason action? NFL insider Robert Dieters is up next on National Sports. The story of the 2013 Major League season has been the resurgence of the Dodgers, led by Yasiel Puig. How realistic of a shot does Los Angeles have at making the World Series? Jason Gerline leads the roundup next on National Sports. Your presentation of National Sports is brought to you by Spreaker.com. Broadcast and listen to news, radio, and music with one low monthly rate. Your show will be right back after this word from your local stations. You can contact National Sports in a number of ways through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter with the label National Sports. We love to have you guys a part of our show and can easily join us also through text.
Start of the third quarter here from Hilmer Lodge Stadium on the campus of Mount San Antonio College. It's the Mounties on top of the Hornets, 17-7 they lead. I'd say, Brian, pretty safe to say Mount Sac, despite the last-minute gaffe, they dominated that first half.
They did, and they're looking to really take it to them in the second half. We'll see how Fullerton responds here as they get the first possession of the second half. Very important, I think, for Fullerton College to start off with the possession here in the third quarter, as it's only a 10-point game. Of course, that momentum, a huge momentum swing there by Fullerton College at the very, very end, with time just winding down, a pass interference penalty and conversion for a touchdown for Fullerton College. We'll see what happens here as it's about to kick off here, Chris.
So we'll see if the Hornets can take any of that momentum at the end of the second quarter here into the third, as they'll receive this kick. It's going to not be kicked to Ogletree this time. It's Prince Sholula, and he gets out to the 27-yard line, it looks like. And a smart decision that time, not kicking it to Ogletree, who had the big return that set up Fullerton's lone score in this game. And we'll see if Verhey and this offense can finally find themselves in a situation where they run some time off of that clock. Only 9 minutes, 11 seconds total in the first half for Fullerton on the offensive side of the football. Yeah,
it definitely seemed like Mount Sac had a lot of the possession in that first half, and that proves to be true. We'll see what Verhey can kind of come up with here, as I don't see, there he is. He kind of popped out of nowhere right behind that center there.
Not the biggest quarterback in the world at just 6'1". I formation here for the Hornets. And it'll be a handoff to Khalil Wilson, who stopped up after just a gain of 1. The Mounties have done a fantastic job at bottling up the run. Wilson, a guy, 11 carries, 100 yards, including a 57-yard scamper last week against Ventura. In that first half, 8 carries for 7 yards for that Fullerton rushing unit. Incredible.
Nice numbers there. I mean, no doubt doing work last week in that game.
Another I formation here. Receivers split out to each side for the Hornets. Under center is Verhey. 2nd and 10. Play action. Verhey. He'll roll out to the right. He'll dump it off for his tight end, Holt, but this time he couldn't bring it in. Incomplete. And Mount Sac has a chance to get Fullerton here on a 3-and-out.
I believe that was his intended receiver, Andrew Moore, not Holt. Either way, it was an incomplete pass. He was kind of looking down the field because he had so much room there, and unfortunately didn't complete that pass and catch that ball.
You'd think Holt, the leading receiver with 4 catches, 38 yards, and the lone TD for the Hornets would be the tight end on that set, but he wasn't. And, hey, it cost the Hornets. Now a 3rd and 10 from their own 27. Out of the gun here. Back to pass, Verhey. Pressured, throws out to the near side of the field, and the pass is dropped, incomplete. It was going that time for number 12, Mario Brown, who had a couple of receptions for 60 yards a week ago. And Mount Sac, they hold here.
Well, Verhey's doing his job. He's throwing the ball right on the chest for his receivers.
Back-to-back drop passes.
His intended receivers. That was another drop pass there by his wideout. And unfortunately for Verhey, it is a 3-and-out here on their first possession of the third quarter.
Casey Iman is the punter. Faces some pressure, gets it off. Big, long spiraling kick that'll take a hop and take a Mount Sac hop, and Fullerton will down it at the 36-yard line. So that is where the Mounties will start. Some decent field position here for Justin Allo in the offense. You take a look at the first half stats for Allo. Only 50% passing, but he was very efficient. Interception, but it didn't come back to haunt the Mounties, and he's also ran the ball seven times for 14 yards and a couple of TDs as well.
Yeah, we'll look to see what Mount Sac kind of does right here on their first possession of the second half. I expect them to kind of run the ball here with so many options here for Allo.
Tolbert's the lone back. They'll pass it instead, and picking the pass off of the ground is Gilchrist for a gain of about 3 to the 40-yard line. It wasn't the best pass in the world that time from Allo, but nonetheless, the Mounties 3 yards on first down. It'll be 2nd and 7. Taken down after maybe a gain of half a yard. When you go after a guy like Tolbert on the defensive side, you want to go for his legs, and that's what Fullerton's doing to stop him.
And, that reminds me of the tackle that they had on him in the first half where they went really low and pretty much prevented a touchdown run by him going low. So Tolbert showing his weak spot there, getting hit low.
2-back set here for the Mounties. 3 receivers. Allo back to pass, has time going towards the sidelines, and there's got to be a flag, and there it is. It's going to be a pass interference call on Fullerton. Once again, he's going for what looks to be his number one target tonight, Chris Gilchrist, the big 6'6 wideout, sophomore out of Charter Oak High School, who's getting some looks from the Division I ranks right now, and that's going to set up the Mounties in Fullerton territory. And that time, just an obvious pass interference call as the defender for Fullerton grabbed a hold of Gilchrist's jersey.
Well, you look at it as if there is a smart penalty, that might be one because he was free and clear if that ball is caught. So kind of a heads up
in front of him. Brandon Wilson's done a nice job getting a lot of carries tonight. Didn't get a single carry last week against College of the Canyons in Mount Sac's opening victory. 2nd and about 3.5. Allo, shotgun snap, and the ball's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete.
I believe that was number 99, Corey Gabriel, putting his hands up, deflecting that pass attempt by Allo. So nice work on the defensive line there by Fullerton College.
So a big 3rd down. Ball at the Fullerton College 43. The Mounties need the 39 for a first. Allo back to pass, and he has his man wide open inside the 30-yard line. It's number 22, Aaron Vons, and he has the first down for Mount Sac and more. Got himself wide open that time and had a lot of running room to the outside.
He's showing some speed there. He's only 5'8", is Vons, so great reaction after the catch and getting the first down for Mount Sac.
1st and 10 for the Mounties now at the Fullerton 26, looking to get those 7 points back. Play action. It's Simpson. Screen pass inside the 20, and he's taken down at the 17-yard line. It's close to another first down.
Well, close to another first down because of Derek Macon making a huge block for his buddy after that catch and moving it a little bit closer. And unfortunately, there is an injured player on the field from Fullerton College.
We'll have to check who, in fact, that is on the near side of the field. It looks like number 21, if I'm not mistaken, Alonzo Bennett. We'll get you confirmation on that in just a second. But the bubble screen, very effective on the offensive side of the ball for the Mounties here tonight. And in fact, it is Alonzo Bennett. It's being attended to by the medical staff of the Hornets and the Mounties. As both teams will retreat to their respective sidelines, as you hope it's nothing too serious here.
He looked to be in a little bit of pain there, grabbing his leg.
Bennett, a 5'9" freshman defensive back from St. Louis, Missouri, Hazelwood High School. As they continue to attend to him down on the field, now he gets up on his own power. Good to see him helped off the field that time. And he's walking off on his own power, which is always a good thing. So as we resume play here, it'll be a 2nd and 1 for the Mounties on the Fullerton College 17. 4 receiver set. 3 lined up to the left of Allo, which is the far side of the field. Mounties moving from left to right. It's a passing play. Allo overshoots Gilchrist, and that's almost impossible at his 6'6" frame, but he did it that time, and now a 3rd and 1 situation for the Mounties.
Well, there's no way he would have gotten into the end zone for that catch right there, even though they only needed the 1 yard for the first down. Triple coverage pretty much if he was, to catch that ball nonetheless.
But if you put that ball on the money there, if you're Justin Allo, at the very least you pick up the first down because all you needed was 1 yard. Now a 3rd and 1. High formation for the Mounties. It's Tolbert. Tries to escape the initial tackle. The late flag flies in. Now another. Looks like no gain on the play right there, but we'll see what that flag is. And if it's against Mount Sac, I'm assuming that Fullerton would take it because it would back the Mounties out of field goal range.
Yeah, I saw the flags come in from a couple different spots, one from the back judge there, so it will be against.
Personal foul against Fullerton. If you couldn't hear it from the mic on the referee, it's a face mask against the Hornets. That's half the distance to the goal, and Mount Sac sitting pretty. It's going to be a 1st and goal, I do believe, for the Mounties.
That's a big penalty there by Fullerton College. Kind of shooting themselves in the foot, so to speak. They were doing a good job holding the Mount Sac offense to what they could. And unfortunately giving them the first down and, more importantly, 1st and goal for the Mounties here, Chris.
The nose of the football at the Fullerton 8-yard line. 17-7 the Mounties lead. 11:20 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Allo out of the gun, going to take a shot towards the end zone. Has a man wide open, and it's caught. Touchdown, Mount San Antonio College. Antoine Anderson with the reception.
Nice play there. Nice read by Allo as he saw a wide open lane for Anderson to get open and really just having to keep his eye on the ball to secure that touchdown pass. And the Mount Sac adds to their total here at Hilmer Lodge.
So Antoine Anderson with his first touchdown reception of the season, first passing touchdown of the night for the Mounties. And the extra point splits the uprights, courtesy of Alberto Villarreal and Mount Sac. They get the 7 points back and now lead 24-7 with 11:16 left to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, both teams, kind of giving each other the touchdowns, if you will, with these penalties. Not really helping their cause on the defensive end. For either of the teams. Fullerton College capitalizing at the end of the first half. Mount Sac capitalizing on this penalty to start the 3rd quarter here and giving themselves a more of a cushion, I should say, Chris, of a lead.
How about that drive for Mount Sac? They drive 82 yards for the score.
And there's a lot to say with Allo there at under center, really having a lot of confidence in his receivers, and not only that, he's done 2 rushing touchdowns in this game as well. So he's doing his part not only distributing the ball, but also getting in the end zone himself.
And he's the true definition of a dual-threat quarterback. A couple of rushing touchdowns and that passing touchdown to Antoine Anderson, the sophomore out of Narbonne High School. Narbonne, of course, a city section powerhouse. Has produced a lot of college talent over the years. Antoine Anderson, one of many, as Villarreal will kick away a line drive. It'll be taken by Prince once again. He gets past the 25. Stutter steps a man to the 30, 35, still on his feet, and now they'll whistle him out of bounds at around the 36-yard line. So a good return that time from Prince Shanala, the kick returner for the Fullerton College Hornets, and they'll have some decent field position here, down 24-7 with 11:08 left to go in this third quarter.
Prince showing a lot of speed there. I remember in the first half he's doing the same sort of run there where he just kind of delays for a split second and then uses his burst of speed. He's only 5'9", so he's utilizing that frame for himself and using it to a really nice advantage here for Fullerton College.
4 receivers set here to start this offensive possession for the Hornets. Under center is Verhey. He'll drop back to pass. It's a screen pass, and it goes on a bounce to Gerald Moss, the intended receiver. And Verhey, sure, he was 8 of 9 in the first half passing the football, and sure, he's been throwing it accurately all night long, but he has been under pressure the entire evening here tonight. That Mount Sac defensive line, it seems to get to him on each and every passing play.
Well, they want to make sure he's always uncomfortable. There's no level of comfort for Verhey so far in the pocket, aside from little short passes here and there in the first half.
4 receivers set again, this time a shotgun snap. Verhey over the middle, and it's nearly intercepted. Incomplete. He was going for Tim Holt that time.
His favorite receiver tonight.
Credit. 3rd and 10 situation for Fullerton, something they've been used to here in this football game tonight. What do you do here, Brian? I know you're an offensive juggernaut yourself.
Go with what has been working. The tight end is their only option right now as far as the passing
That's
game.
What it seems like is Verhey flushed out here to his right, throws on the run, and the pass is caught into Mount Sac territory. Go the Hornets, and that was a tight end that time, but it wasn't Holt. It looked like number 80 that time for Fullerton, Mr. Merriweather. What a name.
Wow.
Mr. Merriweather.
I thought you were doing, abbreviations there for his first name.
His first name is Mister. And now Fullerton sitting pretty in Mount Sac. 6. Shotgun snap, and a flag flies in as a pass over the middle here is complete, and a lot of running room for L.J. Gainey inside the 30 of the Mounties, but a flag did fly in before the snap. We will have to see exactly what the call on the field is here. Officially, only 9 penalties so far combined between these teams in the game, but it seemed like a lot more than that.
So it will be a false start.
Usually they blow it dead before a false start. So some interesting things have gone on between those officials down on the field here tonight, to say the least. So wipe out that big passing play that would have had the Hornets inside the Mount Sac 30. Instead, it backs them up 5 yards, and looks like they will be at the Mount Sac 45 instead.
It'll look like a really nice, fluid offensive play there by Verhey and his receiver, L.J. Gainey, on that play. It was just a little rub screen, and he found him in the slot, and it was a nice, easy play, and it looked, like he found another receiver aside from Holt who he can kind of throw to more often. We'll see what happens. There's plenty of time here left here at Hilmer Lodge.
24-7. Mount Sac on top of the Fullerton College Hornets, the defending Southern California Junior College champions, who haven't lost to a Southern California team since all the way back in 2012, and now the Referees are going to finally back up Fullerton 5 more yards. Back into their own territory they go at their own 48-yard line, the 1st and 15. 3 receivers set, 2 out to the near side of the field. Back to pass Verhey. Pressure in his face again, but this time he completes the pass out to the far side of the field for about a gain of 10.
And that was number 12,
Mario Brown
on the reception for Fullerton College. So Verhey doing his best job as far as distributing and really just finding whoever is open for him down the field. More importantly, completing those passes.
The Hornets will stack 2 receivers on each side here. On a 2nd and 5. Shotgun snap, Verhey back to pass. It's a screen over the middle and lots of running room. Getting to the outside and being taken down at the 32 for another Hornet first down. That was number 85.
That was Clayton Smith, the wide receiver.
Clayton Smith, that's his first reception of the season.
5'11", 190 out of Georgia to Shiloh High School.
I think we've talked a lot tonight about how guys come from all over to play JUCO ball in SoCal, in Florida, Georgia, just about everywhere. St. Louis. 1st and 10 for the Hornets at the Mount San Antonio College 33. High snap. Verhey handles, and the pass is incomplete. He threw it at the back of his big offensive lineman that time. But a flag does fly in. Holding on Fullerton.
I think he was a little upset, too, after he was throwing that ball. You know, he knew the flag was thrown and the play was dead, so he kind of just, come on, guys.
Let's talk a little bit about Joey Verhey. He was a guy who was born in Massachusetts and goes to Phillips Academy in Idaho, and now he's out here in Fullerton, California. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, he's getting his experience no matter where. He's here at Fullerton College right now playing some great football for the Hornets.
1st and 20 after the penalty, and the handoff to Wilson, and he's going absolutely nowhere. Mount Sac bottles him up once again, and the inability to run the football tonight for the Hornets really hurting them.
Well, Khalil Wilson did such a great job last week rushing for 100 yards and a touchdown, and he's being absolutely shut down here by Mount Sac. The Mounties doing a great job at getting to him early because he is a fast runner.
And I think it's a little bit, I think you'd have to say it's attributed to the play calling a little bit. 40 pass attempts last week for Verhey. So far in this game, just 15. And that certainly doesn't open up the run as flags fly here before the snap is back into the hands of the quarterback Verhey.
This is what we've talked about as far as having any fluidity in a drive. Penalties really halting the drive here by Fullerton College.
Well, this time they'll get some free yardage as Mount Sac hopped off sides, and that'll move the ball to the 36-yard line of the Mounties, as we do have a Mountie down on the field here. It'll be a 2nd and 14 once we resume play. 24-7. The Mounties leading the Hornets here with 8:57 left to go in this 3rd quarter. We'll get you a player name on who
At the line of scrimmage, yeah.
Obviously, Mount Sac, a much different defense than what Wilson saw last week in Ventura College, who the Mounties will take on at Ventura. We're heading up north next week. How about that?
Anywhere is a good time as long as we're calling Mount Sac football.
4-receiver set. Verhey back to pass. Finally has some time. Now he's going to step up and run. Gets inside the 35 before he's cut up right around the 31-yard line. And that'll bring up a 3rd and about 8.
That was Darius McKinney getting to the quarterback after a nice shuffle and run there by Verhey. He's a 5'10", 195. Is this weird? He's out of Pomona.
It's kind of close.
Yeah. That's why it's so weird. Anchorage, Alaska, Georgia, Florida, and now Pomona, and it's weird.
I'm just waiting for somebody to be from Iceland, as we do have a flag on the far side of the field here. Personal foul against Fullerton. So
this has been the hardest time crossing the 30-yard line of Mount San Antonio, as this has been a back and forth between the 30-yard line and about the 50, maybe even into Fullerton territory. But this goes back to the 46-yard line almost.
This 2.5 quarters of play so far from Fullerton, certainly one for the paper shredder.
This is a paper shredder for sure.
The personal foul penalty makes it a 3rd and 25. 4 receivers set here for Verhey. Back to pass, sets his feet, throws, and has a man inside the 25-yard line. And that's very close to a first down. That's Ryan Marcush, who had the lone touchdown reception for the Hornets last week. And this is very, very close to that first down marker, and they did get it. They needed 25. They got 25. Moved the chains for the Hornets. That is a huge pickup of first down.
Nice throw there by Verhey. He found his intended receiver and put it into a place where the zone coverage was kind of, they were stretching between. So he placed it right along the sideline there, and a nice reception and catch for Fullerton College.
Now an I formation set. Ball in the Mount San Antonio College 22. Handoff and not going anywhere is Orrin Maxwell. He's taken down in the backfield for a loss of 2.
Couldn't see who the DB or safety was on that play from Mount Sac, but a great job getting out to Maxwell and making sure he doesn't cut around that corner for some more yardage.
As long as he's wearing that maroon jersey, it's all good for the Mounties. It did look like one of the twins that time, one of the Tammy Venna twins. 2nd down under center. The pass is incomplete. That time Verhey was going for his tight end. Is that Mr. Merriweather again? I think it is.
That was Mr. I was gonna say Mr. Merriweather.
You want to take a wild guess at what his sister's name is?
Mrs.?
Might be.
I'm going to Google that.
After the game. Third and 12. Ball on the Mount Sac 25. Shotgun snap. More pressure. Verhey lobs one up towards the end zone, but it's way too far for his intended target, Jarrell Moss, and that'll bring up a 4th down and 12 situation here for Fullerton at the Mount San Antonio College 24, and it appears that Coach Burns is going to send out his field goal unit here to try to put this thing back to a 2-possession game.
Well, they did such a great job keeping the Mount Sac defense on the field, really tiring them out here in this weather. And
it's still hot, man.
Fortunately for Mount Sac, some penalties committed by Fullerton College that really halted that drive.
This will be a 41-yarder from Casey Iman. Snap, hold, kick, has the distance, and he got it. Impressive kick from 41 yards out from Casey Iman. Gives the Hornets their first field goal of the game, and now we're back to a 2-touchdown game here, 24-10 with 6:40 left to go in the third quarter. Still plenty of time for Fullerton to get back into this game, but if the Hornets want a chance to win this football game in regulation, they're going to have to start capitalizing on their offensive drives. The only touchdown they had, they started in Mount Sac territory.
Yeah, Mount Sac's done, and we've touched on this already before, but Mount Sac's done such a great job on the defensive end, really pressuring the quarterback, Verhey, he hasn't felt that comfortable, although he's made a few key throws during that last drive where he looked somewhat comfortable in the pocket. For the most part, he's been disrupted, and also it doesn't help when your offense is committing those penalties that'll back you up into your own zone again. So Fullerton College nonetheless getting some points on the board here, making it a 2-touchdown game, Chris.
Casey Iman, he just knocked through that field goal. Kicks it away, and it'll be Simpson returning up the middle. Has a lot of room across the 30, and he's upended at the 31. So some decent field position here for the Mounties. And Justin Allo, who on that last offensive drive for Mount Sac, 8-yard touchdown pass. He's also ran 2 in as well. And, I mean, for a former wide receiver, he's doing a pretty darn good job at quarterback for the Mounties here tonight.
I think he's doing a fantastic job. He's felt comfortable in the pocket for the most part, and he's distributing the ball well to all of his receiving options. They're all big guys here, Gilchrist, Macon, Anderson, Simpson, and Short. They're all big targets for him. So if I'm Coach Javs here, I'm throwing the ball. I'm running it all as well.
1st and 10. It's a wide receiver end around. This is Aaron Vons, and he's pushed out of bounds, and there's a late hit on the play committed by the Hornets. Originally a gain of 6 on the end around, but you got to imagine
Mount Sac really getting some extra yardage for free here.
And one play into the drive, if you're Fullerton, you want to build up some momentum on your side, but one play into the drive for Mount Sac, they're in Hornet territory at the 49. Inside the 40 and taken down at the 36. That's the big 6'6" target, Chris Gilchrist, for 14.
He provides such a great window for any quarterback really throwing to him. Allo, really utilizing his frame there and moving the chains for the Mounties.
2-back set again for Mount Sac. Ball now at the Fullerton 36. Allo back to pass again. He's going to hit Tolbert coming out of the backfield. Tolbert inside the 35, slips a tackle, and he's taken out of bounds right at the 30. A healthy gain of 7 on 1st down.
You talk about a healthy gain. He made the DB, whoever that was coming up on the defensive end for Fullerton College, move and miss. And he got that positive yardage because he was so quick. He knew he was coming. He had to shake him very quickly and did so. Very impressed.
Just like you said, Brian, looking like Eddie Lacy there in the backfield. It's an end around again. No, it's not. Allo's going to keep it on a play action, picks up the 1st down, and slides down inside the 25 at the 24-yard line.
So Allo feeling really comfortable running the ball.
He fooled the defense and he fooled me.
Yeah. The play action pass will always get you if you can't really see who's holding the ball, obviously, but that does a great job as far as shifting the linebackers and everybody else, whoever's on the fake, running the opposite way.
Now a 1st and 10 for Mount Sac at the Fullerton 24. 24-10 our score. Mount Sac leads. Under 5.5 minutes left to go in this 3rd quarter. Allo drops back to pass. Has Simpson. Simpson upended at the 21 after a gain of 4.
That was a big hit by the Fullerton College. Joe Inda, the linebacker, 6'1", 225 out of Anaheim. He went to the big Catella High School out there. Big hit and stopped there by the Fullerton College defense.
You talk about interesting names. Of course, we have Mr. Merriweather on the other side for Fullerton College, but Ryan Simpson for Mount Sac, he spells Ryan R-I-I-A-N.
Just to confuse us.
Handoff. This is Gates getting inside the 15, and he's close to that 1st down marker. I've been very impressed at the few times we've seen Tony Gates, the freshman running back, so far in this game. It'll be a 3rd and short. Handoff, Gates again. Dives forward, and I believe he picked up for that. I believe he picked up that 1st down, and there's an offensive lineman down on the field for Mount Sac, and the medical staff will have to attend to him. Looks like we're going to have a 4th and short as Gates was tripped up apparently before he got to that marker. Gotta admit, I'm questioning some of the ball spots in this game here tonight. Obviously, they're down on the field and we're all the way up here, but I've seen a couple of things differently than the Zebras have so far.
As far as their official marking after the penalty?
Not after the penalty, just on runs and
the
receptions,
spots?
the spots of the ball.
Trying to see.
Sometimes a little generous, sometimes not generous at all.
I think it kind of evens out in the end if you want to think about it. I'm trying to see who the Mountie on the field is for everybody here. As there's a wave of players right in front of him, and immediately right around him are a set of trainers, as he does not look very happy.
In a big game like this, going down, I wouldn't be happy myself.
And he's up.
Looks like a whiteout, not an offensive lineman.
That is number 15, Tony Gates.
So that's Gates, the running back, who just got the carry. Plays a little bit of slot receiver as well.
Good reason for him to be upset.
Absolutely. I think he's more upset at the fact that he didn't get that first down more than the fact that he's limping off the field here. So decision time here for Coach Jabs. You have a 4th and centimeters, it looks like, at the 15-yard line of Fullerton. And sure enough, Jabs will make that decision for us as the offensive unit back out onto the field here for the Mounties. And we'll see that power package, the I formation. Tolbert is the deep back on a 4th and short. Perhaps Allo that time trying to get the hard count to get the Hornets to jump off sides. Looks to the sideline once again. Play clock now under 5. Better get this one off, and whistles blow before the snap, and Mount Sac will burn their first timeout of the second half, and we'll step away as well. 24-10. The Mounties on top of the Hornets here from Hilmer Lodge Stadium in Walnut, California.
Who is the team to beat in the National Football League as we begin preseason action? NFL insider Robert Dieters is up next on National Sports. The story of the 2013 Major League season has been the resurgence of the Dodgers, led by Yasiel Puig. How realistic of a shot does Los Angeles have at making the World Series? Jason Gerline leads the roundup next on National Sports. Your presentation of National Sports is brought to you by Spreaker.com. Broadcast and listen to news, radio, and music with one low monthly rate. Your show will be right back after this word from your local.
3:58 left to go, third quarter here from Hilmer Lodge Stadium on the campus of Mount San Antonio College. 24-10, the Mounties lead on a 4th and goal. Coach Jabs has sent back his offensive unit. Instead, it'll be Alberto Villarreal on the field goal unit here to attempt what looks to be a 31-yarder. But before that happens, Fullerton will now burn their first time out of the half. And a little bit surprised to see the field goal unit on here when you have a lot of confidence in your power backs like Tolbert and Wilson.
Yeah, I am. But, Jabs is looking at the bigger picture as far as putting points on the board for Mount Sac. And Fullerton called that timeout. It wasn't to freeze the kicker, but they did have, in fact, 12 men on the field. So they didn't want to get penalized for that. But a little bit. But, you can't get too greedy. They are playing some great defense against Fullerton College, but you don't want to put any more pressure on them to do so. So the important thing is walking away with some points here.
So out of the timeout, Coach Jabs will stick with that field goal unit to attempt a 31-yarder. Villarreal 1 for 2 today. Made a 19-yarder to open up scoring at the beginning of the second quarter. Snap, hold, kick. And he got it. So Mount Sac gets those 3 points back. Villarreal knocks through his second field goal of the night. And the Mounties add 3 to that lead. It's now back to a 3-possession game, more importantly, 27-10 with 3:45 left to go here in the third quarter. And Mount Sac, despite Fullerton having small bursts of momentum in this game, they've held at home.
Yeah, and Mount Sac has been playing some great defense, and unfortunately for Fullerton College, any rhythm that they get into, they kind of draw those penalties on their own and really halts that offensive flow that Verhey is really trying to create with his offensive options here on that, especially on that last drive where we talked about how fast the first quarter went. The third quarter has been halted here for the most part just because of the penalty calls.
27-10. The Mounties on top of Fullerton College here at home. Mount San Antonio looking to move to 2-0 on the season and hand the defending Southern California champion Hornets their first loss to a Southern California team since 2012. Mount Sac on the road next week at Ventura College, and a pooch kick here will hop out of bounds at the 35-yard line. And not to question a guy like Coach Jabs here, Brian, but he's always gone with that pooch kick, and a lot of times it hops out of bounds, and just like it is here, it's going to give the opposition some great field position to start the drive.
Yeah, I'm, unsure. Maybe they obviously want to kick away from
Ogletree and Prince Shanala.
Yeah, and Prince has done a great job on the return so far.
Prince has looked like a king on the return
tonight. Yeah, that is true. He's using his small frame to really burst out with some speed on that last return that he had. He took somewhat of a stutter step and really just kind of cut towards the sideline through a hole. So he's using his speed at the right time. They just don't want to kick to either of those returners.
So the Hornets will start at their own 35-yard line. There's an illegal procedure penalty before the snap originally, so it'll be 1st and 15 to start the drive. Oh. Now they'll move it back 5 yards up, so the penalty is negated. It'll be 1st and 10 for Fullerton at their own 35. Under center is Verhey with a 3-receiver set. He's back to pass, throws over the middle, has a man wide open, and a Fullerton first down to the 47-yard line, hauling that one in for the Hornets that time was number 5, L.J. Gainey.
He was wide open because on that last possession there, Chris, they sent the blitz in and taking one of the linebackers out of position, opened up a spot for Verhey.
1st and 10. Fullerton from their own 48. 3-receiver set once again. Mount Sac will bring the blitz, and it appears that they might have jumped off sides that time. And no, it'll be a false start against Fullerton. So the Hornets jump, and the penalties continue to plague them. So nice having a referee with a mic.
You don't like watching the signals?
Not really. Feels professional. I mean, obviously, JUCO ball. Football everywhere is professional. Who am I to say that it's never professional? 1st and 15 after the penalty. Verhey, little screen pass, dump off to Shanala.
That was
and
Prince
he gets
there.
back to 5 yards to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10.
5'9" frame there by Sanala as he used a nice screen pass from Verhey and cut up the middle. Unfortunately, that's nowhere near the first down marker because of the penalty.
2nd and 10. Fullerton has it at their own 48. 4-receiver set this time for the Hornets. Mount Sac on the defensive side, it looks like they're going to bring some more pressure on Verhey. He's been pressured all night long, and looks like the Mounties jumped. A little bit too antsy to get to Verhey that time.
A little too antsy to say the least. They jumped completely off, as that was, I believe, one of the twins, Sidi Tama-Avena, on that last jump.
Something like that.
The linebacker. His twin is Sully on the team. They're the exact same height.
From Palo Alto area.
From Palo Alto. 5 more pounds to Sidi at 230.
He eats a little bit more than his brother, eh? Or lifts. Who knows?
Yeah.
2nd and 5. Back to pass Verhey. Pump fakes. Now steps up in the pocket. Flushed out to his right. And gains maybe a yard to the 46. It'll bring up a 3rd down and about 4.
A lot of pressure there by the Mount Sac defense. Verhey really scrambling to his right, getting a little uncomfortable on that last play, but Mount Sac really sent the blitz there, and just a few steps away from really sacking him in the backfield there, Chris.
And Verhey, certainly a pocket passer. He's not all that mobile in the backfield, and was only able to get a yard out of what looked like a broken play that time. A faster quarterback probably has himself a 1st down there, but instead it's a 3rd and 4 for Fullerton at the Mount Sac 46. Mounties look to bring pressure once again. Verhey drops back to pass, faces pressure, and he's going down in the backfield. All over that play for the Mounties. It's number 17, Tuiasamoa Magley, the sophomore who had 6 tackles last week for the Mounties. And a big sack there will back Fullerton up into their own territory to the 47, and the Hornets will have to punt once again.
There's too many guys on the field. The fucker ain't going to call it, though. Fuck it. The referee on this side actually waved the coach, told him no, don't worry about it.
Punt is off this time from the punter who's done a fantastic job tonight. That's Casey Iman, and the ball will be downed inside the 10. It looked like Mount Sac had too many men on the field that time, and a late flag flew in, but it didn't look like it was in the area where it should have been. We're right next to the Fullerton coordinator, so we apologize for any vulgar language used in the background.
There was a flag on the play, that is for sure. So we're waiting to see what the official call is.
So it is the right call, but it was thrown by the back judge, who was about 30 yards away from where the penalty occurred. He's got a great eye. So Mount Sac, after the penalty, they'll start at their own 5-yard line. 19 seconds left to go in this 3rd quarter. 27-10, the Mounties lead. And this is a chance for Fullerton to force Mount Sac to punt potentially from their own end zone, or maybe even force a turnover down here.
I think this is the time for Mount Sac's running game to really steamroll and go downhill on this drive. They get out of their defensive 3rd here, out of their own zone. They'll have some breathing room and really establish some sort of run game.
Playing in the shadows of their own goalposts are the Mounties right now. Delayed handoff. Tolbert trying to get to the outside, and he's tackled in the end zone. Is it going to be a safety? No. Forward progress will give Tolbert what looks like the half-yard line, but a loss of almost 5 there. And Fullerton all over that running play from Mount Sac, and now the official's going to get together to see exactly where to spot the football, and it's not a safety, but now it's 2nd and 14. You're about a centimeter away from a Fullerton safety.
Tolbert was really close to getting brought down in his own end zone for the safety, as Fullerton College were throwing up their hands.
We do have a flag here that flies in on the far side of the field. And the penalty will be declined. It was holding on Mount Sac. So 2nd and 14 for the Mounties. At their own 1, as now the call from the official with the mic, so nice, down on the field, but penalties declined as If you would have accepted the holding call there, it would have been a 1st and 12 at the 2.5-yard line, so a no-brainer to decline it. Under 10 seconds now left to play in this third quarter, and it looks like Mount Sac just going to run this one out to end the third quarter. But as we head to the fourth quarter, it's all Mount Sac 27-10. When we resume play, it's going to be a 2nd and 14 for the Mounties at their own 1. Fullerton, a big chance to get themselves back into this football game here, but they're going to have to make something happen on the defensive side.
Well, yeah, and you talk about making something happen on the defensive side. They were just that close to knocking Tolbert into his own end zone. Very, very close in there, in their end zone. They will have to dig their way out of this area as far as, getting a nice pass play or a run up the middle or something to give themselves a little breathing room. It will be difficult to get it out there, but once they do have a nice chance as far as running the ball and really just running down the clock, more importantly.
27-10 as we head to the fourth quarter here. Mount Sac 17-point lead. You got no excuse. You got to win this football game.
Easier said than done. These guys are such a great team, Fullerton College, and no slight to Mount Sac. Mount Sac is one of the top teams in the country every single year, without a doubt. So,
without a doubt.
Quarterback Justin Allo, is going to have to really show his confidence in his offense and run the plays that he knows to run under Coach Jabs here.
And all you got to do here for Mount Sac, and it's easier said than done, is get yourself some breathing room on offense. You never want to punt from your own end zone.
They're about at the millimeter mark right now.
Do we use that in America? Do we? Millimeter, isn't that like a Canadian thing?
No, we use it.
We use it?
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm not taking math right now. Probably should.
I don't know what the refs are. There we go.
Here we go. 2nd and 14. Mount Sac has it at their own 1. Fullerton looking for a big defensive play here. Allo just going to sneak forward to give Mount Sac maybe an extra yard of breathing room. Interesting play call there. But it does move the ball a little bit past the 1, but it's still going to be 3rd and 13. And if you don't gain anything here, you're still going to be punting from your own end zone.
Well, not the ideal situation right here for Mount Sac, but they're dealing with what they've got, so to speak. So we'll see what the coaching staff calls up here on this play for Allo. See what they execute here.
It's a 3-receiver set for the Mounties. Allo under center. Snap is back. He drops back to pass. He's going deep down the sidelines, and he has his man. But it's out of bounds.
Sailed right out of bounds, and that was a beautiful pass
by
Allo. Unfortunately, that was incomplete.
Intended for Mackin that time, who had a couple of touchdowns last week, the transfer from El Camino. He caught that football. I thought he got a foot in bounce, but the referees, with a much clearer view from down there, marking him out of bounds, and Fullerton nearly blocks the punt here. But the Mounties get it off, and it'll be returned. But great punt coverage that time for Mount Sac as a late flag flies in. Looks like Fullerton going to start at the Mountie 49-yard line. Back to get it that time for Fullerton was Ryan Marcush.
That was Joseph Bryant on that tackle there, making sure that they had no return. Joseph Bryant out of Hawaii, went to St. Louis High School. Yeah. Ideally for Allo, that's the only real play that they had as far as an option to get out of their own.
And he made a good pass, but unfortunately Mackin just couldn't get those feet. In this case, college, he couldn't get a foot down.
Yeah, he absolutely. Caught the ball. He just was out of bounds.
Had his man beat too. That could have been a 99-yard touchdown.
That would have been something to watch. That's for sure.
That would have all but sealed this game for sure. But instead, offsetting penalties on the flag and replay 4th down. So the confusing game down on the field gets even more confusing here.
The flags have been thrown like they've been.
I think
getting
the
on the field
referees have
like
thrown
crazy
more
this
flags
half.
than Fullerton's attempted passes. And that's
you know
not
what?
sarcasm.
Yeah, that might be real. That might be real talk right there. Unfortunately, we don't have those up-to-date stats right now.
We'll
But, Chris is mentioning there's just been so many flags in this second half.
So now Christian Fulham will punt again, nearly blocked again. And this time it's a way better punt. And it takes a nice Mount Sac bounce, and it goes out of bounds at the 43-yard line of the Hornets. So you accept the penalty there if you're Fullerton. You get field position in Mount Sac territory, but because you decline it, all of a sudden you start in your own territory at your own 44.
There were 2 fouls on that last set of calls, so they just offset and replayed the down.
I'm trying to get a little gauge here from the coordinator sitting about 5 feet away from us. And I think they said something about declining it. So
but
a little bit thrown off here.
With Joseph Bryan on that tackle on the last kick, it really backs him up even more over here off that last punt.
So Fullerton will start in their own territory. Boy, what a punt that time by Christian Fulham, the sophomore punter from Mount Sac, as there's a screen pass out to the far side of the field, finding room into Mount San Antonio College territory as Mount Sac allows a first down and a gain of 11 here. 27-10. The clock definitely on the side of the Mounties here. 13 and a half minutes left to play in regulation.
Well, Fullerton, it looks like they're just going to be going to the passing game.
Hooray, back to pass on the 1st and 10. Now he's going to step up and run, gets inside the 40 and slides down at the 37. And Fullerton can find a way into the end zone here. They're more than just right back in this game.
Yeah, this is a big stop for the Mount Sac defense here as Verhey's getting settled in here in the second half, completing a few more passes and on that last quarterback keeper near the first down marker.
2nd and 3, ball at the Mount San Antonio College 38. There's a handoff, and there's a reason why they haven't been running the football a whole lot tonight. About a loss of 2 on the play, as once again for Fullerton, Aron Maxwell got the carry. And that'll back it up to a 3rd and 5 situation. Maxwell carried it 10 times for 32 yards last week against Ventura. Khalil Wilson, who we haven't seen as much as Maxwell for whatever reason here tonight, 11 carries for 100 yards and a TD last week. But
I think there was another penalty on the field. This one going
Mount Sac.
on Mount Sac.
Personal foul.
So unfortunately, they're not helping their cause here as the ball now at the 25-yard line.
I think we should pause after every play to make sure that there's not a flag on the field. It's been that ridiculous. All of a sudden, Fullerton has it at the Mount Sac 25. The Mounties bring the pressure on Verhey. Hit as he throws, and over the middle, it's complete. Down to the 20 for a gain of 5.
So Fullerton trying to do a little hurry-up offense here as Mount Sac is blitzing Verhey, and he's finding his open receivers right in the slot for a quick little pitch and catch there.
Prince Shinala on the receiving end of that pass from the freshman Joey Verhey. 2nd and 5 from the 20. Verhey going to take a shot deep towards the end zone, but that's in a spot where nobody could get to. Intended for Ryan Marcush, who he threw a touchdown to last week against Ventura. And now it's a 3rd and 5. At this point in the game, I feel like you can't settle for a field goal.
No, with it being in the 4th quarter now and down by 17.
I mean, sure, a field goal pushes this back to a 2-possession game, but you can't keep playing chess.
Yeah. This is a
3rd and 5. Verhey sets his feet back to pass, has his man inside the 15. It's going to be a first down for Fullerton. That's Jarrell Moss on the reception, and he's down to the Mount Sac 12. So on a big 3rd down, perhaps the biggest 3rd down of the night for Fullerton, they convert. Ball Ball at the 11-yard line. 27-10. Mount Sac has that lead. Fullerton trying to cut into it. Still plenty of time left to go in this one. 11 and a half minutes. Verhey tipped in the air, and it's intercepted by Mount Sac. Returning it to the 6-yard line, that's big number 90, Lolani Fa'alua. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it fell right into his lap.
You know, he already had a tip earlier in this game, Chris. This one, he did all the work tipping and intercepting that pass from Verhey. What great concentration and focus and pressure by the Mount Sac defense. He's getting rewarded right now by his teammates. Big stop here for the Mount Sac defense.
Well, there's a reason Lolani Fa'alua a big-time interception there, and that is a heartbreaking turnover if you're the Fullerton Hornets.
Yeah, Verhey really found some comfort there in that last drive. They did run the ball.
It looked like they were finally going to put together their first complete drive of the night, and just when things you think are going to click for the Hornets, it all turns back in the direction of the Mount San Antonio College Mounties, who you got to figure are going to try to run some clock here on this possession. Hand off to Tolbert, and he'll gain maybe 2.
Yeah, the clock now the true enemy of Fullerton College. As long as Mount Sac continues to run the football, it will be a tougher uphill climb here. No pun intended here at the Lodge.
The Lodge. I like it. The Lodge. Renovations coming this offseason, eh?
It'll be a beautiful stadium when it's all said and done.
2nd and 9 after the gain on the ground from Tolbert. Allo back to pass here. Has a man wide open. It's Mackin. Past the 20, past the 25, past the 30. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 31-yard line. A big pickup there through the air from Allo to Mackin, who hasn't really been all that involved so far in this game, but puts themselves in the receiving category right there for the Mounties. And they pick up the first down. Gain of 20. 1st and 10. Tolbert across the 31, dives forward towards the 34 for a healthy gain of 4.5 on first down. If you're Mount Sac, you just want to keep on running that clock. 27-10. I'd say, Brian, that if you punch it into the end zone here, if you're Mount Sac, that this one's over. You got to think so, right?
If they punch it in, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
field goal doesn't really help your cause because it's still a 3-possession game. But a touchdown makes it a 4-possession game with under 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Screen out of the backfield. It's Tolbert breaking a tackle and getting into Fullerton territory before he's upended at the Hornet 48. And guess what? Another flag flew in after the play.
That was a big block. It looks like it'll be a legal block in the back, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not what you want to do if you're Mount Sac when you're trying to run clock.
Tolbert, to get around that edge, needed an extra block.
He's explosive, though.
That is the official call on the field.
From the spot, though. So we'll see exactly where they mark it. Move the football to the 31, so that's the original line of scrimmage. It'll be a 2nd and 10. Does Eddie Lacy wear number 28?
I think it's 24. I want to say.
We can Google that. It's 2014.
And you know what's funny? I have him on my fantasy team, and I'm not.
Really?
I'm not 100%.
Handoff here goes to Wilson, and he's taken down in the backfield. About a loss of 4 that time. And Fullerton, the Hornets, no pun intended, swarming the Mount Sac running back Wilson that time, and now it's a 3rd and 12 situation for the Mounties. Third and 12. Clock runs under 9 minutes left to play in regulation. 27-10. Mount Sac on top. Ball on the Mountie 29. Snap is back. Allo looks to throw. Has a man wide open over the middle, but he dropped the football as he got hit.
Eddie Lacy's 27.
27.
And he was in the 20s.
Tolbert, who we compare him to, trying to be a cut above Eddie Lacy wearing that number 28. Aaron Vons dropped what would have been close to a first down. But instead, clock stops at 8:47 left to go, and Fullerton's going to get a chance to get the football back as they bring the pressure on the punt. And calling for a fair catch is number 89 for the Hornets. That's Ryan Marcush. And a fantastic punt once again. Hats off to Christian Fulham, the sophomore punter for the Mounties tonight. Fullerton will start from their own 22. Down by 17. You got 8:40 left to play. You really got to open up the playbook here if you're the Hornets.
Well, Verhey finding some comfort in that last drive. Unfortunately, ended up with an interception there, Chris. But, he's doing his best as far as getting the ball to his receivers. It has been a difficult, stingy, stubborn defense here by the Mount Sac Mounties. He's doing a great job.
Impressive. Very
trying
impressive.
to hold off this Fullerton College offense here.
1st and 10 for the Hornets at their own 22. Screen pass out to the far side of the field, and solid pickup of 10 on first down for the Hornets. That seems to be their mantra on the offensive side of the football. No big passing plays through the air. They don't really throw downfield all that much. A bunch of screens and curl routes, it seems, so far tonight from the Hornets.
Well, you got to remember the first total yardage of the first half was 44 from Verhey.
Another completion here for about a gain of 4. Verhey does a good job at playing in Coach Burns' system, I'd have to say. Just a freshman. If he doesn't get that Division I offer this year, comes back for another year to get even better in 2015 with the Hornets. Not to look that far ahead, it's only week 2. But he was a 3-star guy coming out of high school. A lot of interest from Ivy League schools, so I'm sure this kid gets it done in the classroom as well. 2nd and 6, little dump off, and a lot of room to the outside. Into Mount Sac territory is Aron Maxwell to the 49. Big pickup there for the running back, and the clock now at 7:52 to go. Still 27-10 Mount Sac, but Fullerton has moved quickly here into Mountie territory.
Yeah, nice run there by the running back on that last possession there, picking up the first down for Fullerton.
1st and 10, Verhey back to pass, has a lot of time, throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. Great coverage that time once again for the Mounties. He was going for Trevante Williams, the wide receiver that time. Can't say enough about this Mount Sac defense tonight. They do it up front. They do it in the secondary.
They're doing it all over the field. Defensive line with that last interception by the Mount Sac defense.
2nd and 10 here. Verhey, pressure, dumps it off, and it's intercepted by Mount Sac. This is going to be a pick 6 and probably the end of this game as number 57 for the Mounties brought it all the way to the house. That's Aaron Parham. Touchdown, Mount San Antonio College.
Well, Mount Sac providing yet another big play on the defensive end. Not only is this an interception, it is a run to the house for the pick 6, like you said, Chris. And what a spark and what a defense this is that Coach Jabs has here at Mount Sac.
A pick 6, 51 yards for Aaron Parham, whose brother Brandon Parham was a standout receiver for the Mounties back in 2010. The extra point by Alberto Villarreal splits the uprights, and it's 34-10. The Mounties on top of the Hornets with 7:23 left to go in this game, and I'd have to say, Brian, this one's all but over.
We'll see what happens. Verhey, is obviously his only option.
Decision-making right there. He was about to go down for a sack. Instead decides to just flip the ball in the air aimlessly, and it falls into the lap of Parham, who takes it back 51 yards to the house. And Mount Sac, all the momentum in the world on their side right now, up by 24 at home. Only 7:23 remaining.
Well, you see,
it's a long, long, long shot for Fullerton to try to come back in this game.
You see the freshman decision that he just made on that last possession. Instead of taking that sack and keeping the ball, he decided to try and get rid of it, and that really bit him in the foot. And not only did he lose possession with the ball, it was a pick six like we called it. And unfortunately for Fullerton College, they will have no other options here on this drive to really go in the air and break away from any short yardage completions as they try and get back into this game. But like you said, Chris, it is an uphill battle here at Hilmer Lodge.
A pick six, giving the Mounties a 24-point lead as Villarreal finally, not a pooch kick. It's received by Shanala inside the 5, takes it past the 25, past the 30, finds a seam, and there he goes to the outside before he's finally upended at the 40-yard line. So another good return by Prince Shanala. And some more good field position for the Hornets, but what are they going to do with it?
We'll see. Fullerton College here obviously trying to get on the board again with only 10 points here as compared to Mount Sac's 34. They are down large here to Mount Sac in the fourth quarter, and it will get a little kind of dangerous, too, for the quarterback and his staff over here, Verhey. If he's going to air out the ball, the DBs and safeties will be ready.
So 1st and 10. Only 7 minutes and 15 seconds to play with if you're the Hornets. New quarterback in the game. That's Ramey, who we saw in the first half. He completes it, but it's a loss of 6 on a screen pass in the backfield. And I don't know if this is a case where you take out Verhey because of the mental mistake on that pick 6, or you're just packing your bags and looking ahead to next week, taking out your starters here.
I might be a little bit of both by the coaching staff, and there's no reason for anyone to get any of the key starters to possibly get injured, but you also want to see what your backup can do.
Absolutely. 2nd and 16. Ramey back to pass. Flushed out to his left. Now he's going to take off and run. Lots of running room for Ramey, and he skips out of bounds past the 45, and a late flag flies in. I don't like that flag because Ramey on his way out of bounds that time. Now then he's taken down as half of his body's out of bounds. It's going to probably be a late hit against Mount Sac, but I don't like that call. Sure enough, it is. So that'll tack on 15 yards to the run from Ramey and give Fullerton a 1st and 10 in Mount Sac territory. But my, oh my, the penalties have stacked up here tonight. Of course, Coach Jabs is very satisfied with that score up on the scoreboard right now, but when he takes a look at the stat book after the game, penalties is something he's going to have to probably shake his head at, as Ramey flushed out to the right here, gets inside the 40 and popped at the 35 after a gain of 4.
So Ramey showing his
running
ability here in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, it's going to keep the clock going.
No, the clock will stop now with a Mountie down on the field. Looks like Mount Sac has pulled the majority of their starters. Go here in regulation. We'll get you a name of that Mountie down on the field here. I'd say as far as junior college standards go, here at Hilmer Lodge Stadium, we're probably as far up as it gets, talking about the press box.
Yeah, it is a long ways up, so I brought the trusty
Feels
binoculars.
Like we're on top of a mountain or something.
I'm going to probably let you try and pronounce this name right here as the player on the field, as it is number 91 there.
That's Pelekina Fui Manono.
I think he's Hawaiian, and I think I would have butchered his name. That's why I'm giving it to my partner here, Chris.
He's from Samoa in a high school.
Oh, wow. As he limps off the field, it looks like it was a hamstring injury. He's kind of grabbing the back of his hamstring there. Unfortunately, good thing is he's walking off, but bad news is it looks like he might have pulled a hamstring.
He's got a week to rest up for Ventura, heading up north next week to take on a sneaky Ventura team, to say the least. Clock will run now under 5:40 left to go in regulation. Ramey back to pass, pressured again. Johnny Manziel-like rolls out of the pocket, gets inside the 35, and is flushed out at the 31. Boy, Johnny football type of moves that time from the backup QB Ramey.
And he had a great block and help from the running back in the game right now. That was Eugene Baker. Some help to kind of have him scramble out towards the sideline as Baker heads towards the sideline right now.
Baker, we haven't seen him too much in this game. Last week, a couple of TDs on the ground. Same goes for Khalil Wilson, who we've seen in very limited action.
I believe, well, he did have 2 touchdowns. I thought he was the one that fumbled. That was Orrin Maxwell. But Baker, you're right. I mean, maybe the coaches have seen something in that Mount Sac defense that he wouldn't have been able to dissect.
3rd and short. Ramey looks to pass over the middle and throws it behind his intended receiver. Incomplete. Clock will stop at 5:01 left to go in regulation. 34-10. Mount Sac, they look like they're on their way to a 2-0 start and look like they will be the first Southern California team to hand Fullerton a loss since 2012. Very impressive performance by the Mounties here tonight. Certainly not the prettiest of games for the Mounties, but still good enough to the point where they're up by 24 with 5 left to play. On a 4th and about 2.5. The Hornets will go for it here. Ramey back to pass. Pressured, and he's going down in the backfield. Turnover on downs.
That was Shiloh Pritchard on the sack, the linebacker, 6'1", out of Barstow, California. 6'1", 200 pounds, was running like he was 150 on that last sack there.
Running like he was 50 pounds.
Great play by the defense again here of Mount Sac.
So the Mounties will get the football back at their own 44, and hopefully, for Mount Sac's sake, they can just run out this clock. The 4:57 that is remaining in this game, and it looks like they're going to be 2-0 heading up to Ventura next week. A very impressive start. A couple of, dare I say, blowout wins.
You are daring to say it. They're absolutely capable of doing so. So we'll see what the Mounties do after this game.
Tolbert gets the carry here and is pushed back after a gain of 2.
As Fullerton College did a nice job stopping that, really narrowing down that hole that Tolbert found. As he's getting up, and he's slow to get up, is Tolbert. But he is running towards the sideline.
I'm going to get you an update from that RCC Saddleback game down at Saddleback College right now in just a second. Second and 8 after the run by Tolbert. Allo still back there under center for the Mounties, and Wilson on the carry, and he's taken down in the backfield. We will continue to wait for that RCC Saddleback score, but that game, 17-16, RCC hanging on by a thread at the half in that one. That's the only thing about JUCO ball. It's so hard to get scores. High school, seems like everyone's posting scores.
High school, you have
billions of teams, literally.
Well, the thing is, you have these kids that are using their height advantage and just plowing the ball in as running back or at wideout. There's a couple kids on that team that are not only the wideout, the running back, the DB, the safety, the punter. They're all over the place, but their talents are utilized on that field. It's just easier to score and be that much more versatile in high school ball.
So that's why you think there's more of an interest in high school football? I think it's safe to say that high school football is a little bit more popular than JUCO ball, at least in Southern California.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. Absolutely there's more offensive.
More hype around. I mean, Fox Sports, they have the
Well, they got kids that want to get recruited.
Absolutely.
And, these are kids that are looking for not only getting recruited in football. I have a guy on Troy who's playing. Not only is he playing the wide receiver and DB for Troy, he's also the punter, but he's also trying to get possibly recruited for baseball. So not only is his name out there for football, he's doing whatever he can to be known just as a double threat, if you will, as far as getting a scholarship, whether it be baseball or football.
Could get both. You see it. You see it a lot. Trying to be the next Deion Sanders.
Yeah, Deion was great, man.
Bo Jackson.
He was great.
You're a baseball guy, right?
Yeah, Bo Jackson. What? I can run up a wall, an outfield wall. I can break a bat. No, I can't really, but.
Ramey still in the game and completes the screen pass out to his tight end. That was number 87 for Fullerton, Gage Lackey. Gain of about 4 as the clock will continue to run within 3 minutes here from Hilmer Lodge Stadium. 34-10. Mount San Antonio College going to move to 2-0 on the year.
Mount San Antonio, has just done a great job on the defensive end to really hold quite the talented offense as we see the first real nice run by Fullerton College. But Chris, they've done such a great job holding them and containing their offense really with interceptions. That last one was a pick 6. The possession before was an interception. Possession before that, they just stopped them on down. So, their defense really stepping up here.
And if you're Fullerton, you really got to clean up the turnover department. 5 last week against a mediocre Ventura team, dare I say, and a couple more this week. And both of them very costly. One a pick 6, and the other one occurred down in the red zone of Mount Sac. You can't have those type of turnovers in those situations.
Well, it looked like, and there was I think it was the first drive of Mount Sac as well where Allo got picked on their first drive early on in this game, and that was in the red zone as well. You can't have any turnovers whether you end up winning the game like Mount Sac will here or eventually costly losing the game like Fullerton College will here. Those are very important turnovers that have happened throughout this game.
Eugene Baker on the carry there and has a lot of running room up the middle, gets to the 46-yard line of Mount Sac, and you can see why exactly he had a couple of TDs last week. When he finds that seam, very explosive. And as we wind down here with under a minute and a half to go in regulation in this game, looks like Mount Sac going to trot home with a victory and move to 2-0 on the season like we said. What type of statement does this Mount Sac win send to all the other JUCO teams in Southern California? Hey, we just knocked off the defending champs of SoCal.
Well, yeah, you're looking at a team that has carried so much tradition here at Mount Sac since Coach Jabs, they call him, took over. It's been 2 community college national championships, 2 California state championships, 5 Southern California championships. Should I keep going? You want me to keep going on the championships?
You got time.
8 conference championships, 8 bowl game championships, and an incredible 93 wins and 18 losses. So, for the most part, this is what they're supposed to do, so to speak. And there's no shot there to Fullerton College. They have a fantastic program there.
Absolutely.
Under Coach Burns, and they are highly ranked in junior college football for a reason. They continue to put out such a great product year in and year out as well. So Mount Sac really, taking it to them and ultimately sending a message to the rest of the division and conference here.
Well, next week, Mount Sac 2-0 as they there's a fumble on the play, and Mount Sac recovers with 44 seconds left to go, and all the Mounties got to do now is take a knee and send this one home. They'll be 2-0 on the season next week, heading up north to Ventura. You talk about the bowl wins, 8 for Coach Jastrap. Even in a quote-unquote down year where the Mounties missed out on the playoffs last year, went 9-2, a 42-14 win in the Golden State Bowl against Ventura. So that's a rematch of a bowl game last year that we got for you next week. Brian and I will have the call for you once again. And all Mount Sac needs here is a knee from Justin Allo, and they'll move to 2-0 on the season. Impressively here at Hilmer Lodge Stadium on the campus of Mount San Antonio College by a final score of 34-10. Coach Jabs, win number 94 in his illustrious career as the Mount San Antonio College head coach. Final thoughts, Brian?
it's 34 points, but I'm more impressed with the defense of Mount Sac. And we'll get some official stats here before it's all said and done for next week, and we'll give those to you, those exact numbers of how impressive this defense was under Coach Jabs here at Mount Sac.
The final score from Hilmer Lodge Stadium, 34-10. Mount Sac gets it done. Impressive victory tonight, guys. Impressive.
Fantastic game. Mount Sac really...
I thought we had a time limit on this broadcast. Excuse me, Brian. I thought there was a time limit of 3 hours. Looks like we're past 3 hours now, and we're still rolling along, so that's why I tried to wrap that one up in just in time. But, hey, without looking at any official stats, I can give you the official time of game.
I think the players of the game should be the defense of Mount Sac.
Absolutely.
Having an interception in their own defensive third there, having a pick six late in the game, really pressuring the quarterback Verhey throughout the game and really holding them. I mean, you look at this Fullerton College offense, and they were held to 10 points tonight. That says something about Mount Sac's defense as well. So a nice performance in week number 2 here for the Mounties. We'll see what happens next week in Ventura.
How far is that away from you? About an hour and a half, 2 hour drive?
Yeah, but it's a little bit cooler at least.
At least.
It's
But I don't know if we're going to have this beautiful right at the 50-yard line press box view next week. We'll get that situated.
Although I'll take the weather over this muggy weather right now.
A little bit too muggy for the Fullerton College Hornets tonight as they fall to Mount Sac 34-10. We'll be back with stats and a wrap-up and a little preview of Week 3 as Mount Sac moves to 2-0. 34-10, they defeat Fullerton College here tonight at Hilmer Lodge Stadium. Stay with us.
Who is the team to beat in the National Football League as we begin preseason action? NFL insider Robert Dieters is up next on National Sports. The story of the 2013 Major League season has been the resurgence of the Dodgers, led by Yasiel Puig. How realistic of a shot does Los Angeles have at making the World Series? Jason Gerline leads the roundup next on National Sports. Your presentation of National Sports is brought to you by Spreaker.com. Broadcast and listen to news, radio, and music with one low monthly rate. Your show will be right back after this word from your local stations. You can contact National Sports in a number of ways through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter with the label National Sports. We love to have you guys a part of our show and can easily join us also through text or call. You're listening to the National Sports radio station on Spreaker.com. America's pastime of baseball is changing as we know it into a sport we've never seen before. Where is the game headed in the next few years? Major League correspondent Cameron Sadeghi has the answer to that question next on the National Sports radio station from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, this is Sam Rosen, and I'm here with Sam's Situation.
Good afternoon and welcome into the corner. It's Chris's Corner here on Spreaker.com, a national sports affiliate.
Hello and welcome to the Cameron Sadeghi Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Deep Sports Talk. This is affiliated with National Sports.
Cameron Sadeghi, Chris Sylvester, Sam Rosen, Andrew Goldstein, Daniel Levy, and the entire broadcast crew with Commissioner Robert Dieters. You are live from National Sports radio station in Los Angeles, California. Live from Los Angeles, we thank you for listening to another presentation of the National Sports radio station on Spreaker.com. Who are the hot teams in the Major League Baseball season heading into the playoffs? Stephen Hughes is on tap and set to join us next on the National Sports Radio station from Los Angeles, California.
Back here at Hilmer Lodge Stadium, the final score tonight, Mount Sac over the Fullerton College Hornets, 34-10, handing Fullerton their first loss against a Southern California team since 2012. We got some final stats for you on the night, of course. Mount Sac dominating in time of possession, 33 minutes, 8 seconds to 26:52. A lot of the yards and a lot of the time taken up by Fullerton was in that garbage period towards the end of the game where they had that final 6-minute drive that didn't result in any points. And you can't say enough about the defensive unit for Mount Sac here tonight. A couple of interceptions, the pick six by Parham, very impressive.
Well, they got to the quarterback early, and Verhey, kind of had he had to throw short yardage passes throughout the game, and then their run game was stopped, and he really didn't have any option, later in the game and in that second half. And, the defense really put in the pressure on Verhey throughout the game. Like you mentioned, that INT and the pick six as well. And not only that, they on the offensive end, Mount Sac was just running the ball very effectively. There is 34 points on the board, but I'm more impressed by the defense of Mount Sac.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about the quarterback, the freshman for Fullerton College, 20 of 31 passing, Joey Verhey, 169 yards, a touchdown, but a couple more interceptions. Fullerton next week, they take on a pretty good Cerritos team that beat Saddleback 27-24 to open up the season. What's on the outlook for a Fullerton team that's handed its first loss since the state championship game last year, but like I mentioned, the first blow for Fullerton against the SoCal team since way back in 2012?
Well, I feel bad for whoever their next opponent is because I'm sure they'll have a lot of, anger and excitement to get up and get loud and get after it in their next game. So Fullerton College will definitely bounce back from this loss for Mount Sac, but they, plain and simple, just lost to the better team. Mount Sac is very effective on both ends of the ball, and Fullerton College is no doubt a great program that is run by their coaching staff out in Fullerton. So Cerritos will have their hands full for sure.
Yeah, the Falcons, a very impressive JUCO program in their own right. You look at the offensive side of the ball for the Mounties, very balanced. You look at Omaris Tolbert for the second consecutive week having his way on the ground. No touchdowns for him tonight, but 93 yards on 18 carries. Brandon Wilson and Tony Gates, the freshman, chipping in on the offensive side, running the football as well. Justin Allo, who I think would be my player of the game if I had a chance to make one. 19 of 34 passing, a touchdown. He did throw that interception early, but the poise of Justin Allo after he threw that interception, he didn't let him affect him, and he just got better as the game went on.
Didn't he have 2 touchdowns? I thought he had 2 rushing touchdowns.
2 rushing touchdowns,
yeah.
But one through the air.
Oh, I thought you said 1 rushing touchdown. Yeah, he would be a player of the game on the offense for sure. I mean, you look at a quarterback who was a wide receiver out in Hawaii and then comes back here and does his job not only throwing the ball and distributing to his receivers, but also on the ground and rushing for those touchdowns. And the first one that he got was about a yard out, and he did a no huddle and called the same exact play. And of course, this time ending up in the end zone for Mount Sac. Just an effective performance, if I can call it that, by their quarterback Allo. And we'll see what the rest of the season unfolds here. What else he can or cannot do for Mount Sac and Coach Jabs.
Yeah, certainly Mount Sac, a long list under Coach Jabs of impressive quarterbacks. You think back to the days of Kevin Kraft, who ended up playing at UCLA, and you move on with guys like Nick Lamison, Cameron Dean, Rocky Moore. I mean, this has been a quarterback-friendly JUCO school here at Mount Sac under Coach Jastrab, and he gets his 95th career victory here tonight to move to 95-18 overall as head coach of the Mounties in his 10th season. The final score tonight, 34 for the Mounties, 10 for the Hornets of Fullerton College. Next week, join us at 6 o'clock. Same kickoff time, different opponent, different venue. We're on the road at Ventura as Mount Sac looks to go to 3-0 on the 2014 season. For Brian Tabajay, I'm Chris Sylvester signing off here on Spreaker.com's own national sports. The Mounties move to 2-0 on the season. They knock off Fullerton 34-10 here at Hilmer Lodge Stadium. Good night.